And good evening from the gymnasium at Glencoe High School, as this is day 2 of the Etowah County Basketball Tournament semifinals, as we begin with a pair of varsity girls teams here in Glencoe, as the home team Glencoe will take on a number 6 seed West End, as West End just a couple of days ago picked up their first victory of the season, and we're coming off of 2 dramatic down-to-the-wire finishes to begin our new year for our 2023 coverage. James Hardy and Jim Jacobs with you. This is the Etowah County Basketball Tournament. And, Jim, we're just trying to, at least at this point, have at least a nice little follow-up from 2 dramatic ball games last night.
Well, you know, James, you like to say after last night, the impossible is not impossible, because we saw 2 number 1 seeds get bounced last night in, you know, just buzzer-beating, end-of-game dramatic fashion. And here tonight we've got the truest David and Goliath matchup, I think, that we could possibly have here at this entire tournament.
You're talking about a 2 seed in Glencoe. The Lady Yellow Jackets have come in at 13-5, just outside of the top 10 rankings in the Alabama Sports Writers Association for Class 3A. And on the flip side, as we mentioned, right at the very top, the West End Patriots didn't pick up their first victory until their first day Tuesday in this Etowah County tournament, Jim.
Yeah, they come in tonight now at 1-13, taking on the home host team, the number 2 seeded Glencoe Lady Yellow Jackets, who are deadly on this floor. I mean, they play incredibly well here at home, James. And West End, like I said, after last night, you can't ever say never here. But boy, I tell you what, if it were to happen here tonight, it would be a huge upset.
Oh, without question. In fact, Glencoe has only lost, according to my count, 2 times so far this season. Once to Fort Payne and another to Ohatchee, both at least early in the season in November and December.
And, of course, you're talking about 2 powerful teams there. Fort Payne, a 6A program, and Ohatchee may have the best individual basketball player in the entire state on their side. Tournament tonight, taking on Alexandria, or taking on Eddie Bullock, our buddies, Anniston Lady Bulldogs, over at Pete Matthews. So, just a great opportunity tonight for West End to see what they can do against a really solid Glencoe team.
This is the second time this season that Glencoe and West End have faced each other. The first meeting this season coming on December the 6th, when Glencoe went over across Etowah County and took care of West End 61-19. We'll take this time out and we'll have the visit with our coaches as far as tonight's semifinal round game between Glencoe and West End. Jeremy Lax for West End and Blake Batchett for Glencoe. We'll take this first time out as you are watching the Etowah County Tournament on FNN.
Northeast Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Clinic with Drs. Stewart, Dalton, Ryan, Kelly, Shaw, Metters, Wilson, and Blackstock is pleased to offer 5 locations to serve the Northeast Alabama area. NEO features on-site physical therapy at their South 4th Street Gadsden, Highway 77 Rainbow City, Highway 431 Boaz, and Fort Payne locations. NEO's Football Injury Clinic runs every Saturday morning at 7:30 a.m. through high school football season at Northeast Orthopedics 4th Street location in Gadsden, keeping you in motion at Gadsden, Rainbow City, Boaz, Center, and Fort Payne across from Walmart.
Griffin Laser Engraving in Lincoln is your authorized local dealer for personalized Yeti products. Get your Yeti customized for your team, a business, or a special event. Your color, graphics, even photos. At Griffin Laser Engraving, we make it the way you want it. Order just 1 or hundreds, and you'll find a full line of Yeti coolers and accessories on hand, even the hard-to-find items. Nationally recognized, but right here at home in Lincoln for quality awards, trophies, powder coating, and personalized Yeti items, Griffin Laser Engraving.
Northeast Orthopedics presents our coverage of the Etowah County Basketball Tournament as we return to you for our pregame coverage. First, this is the girls varsity basketball semifinals. There you see all of our fine sponsors that bring our coverage of the Etowah County Basketball Tournament to you here in Glencoe, and we'll send it down courtside to our very own Jim Jacobs for a coaching visit with West End head coach Jeremy Lax.
James, I don't have him.
Yeah, we're having a little technical difficulties as far as our microphone connection with Jim down on the floor. But just to kind of give you an idea as far as these two teams go, Glencoe once again just outside of the top 10 as far as the statewide top 10 rankings from the Alabama Sports Writers Association this week. At really the first team in the receiving votes column. And looking as far as after this week, the winner of this game will face 4th-seeded Sardis tomorrow night as far as the County Tournament Championship. And for Glencoe, they'll have 3 more games after this week for the regular season at Ohatchee and at Weaver, as well as a home game right here at the gymnasium here in Glencoe against Southside. And then for West End, they'll have 1 home game remaining after this tournament on January 24th against Coosa Christian, and then 4 road games against Sardis, Southeastern, Ragland, and Crossville. Unfortunately, due to some technical issues, not able to get to Coach Jeremy Lax as far as our pregame visit with him. So James Hardy with you. We'll be hearing from our very own Jim Jacobs here in just a moment as he's working his way back up to our broadcast location. We had a couple of barn burners last night in the ladies semifinal, the girls varsity semifinal. It was Sardis having 2 last-second free throws to defeat top-seeded Southside by a score of 50-48, and then an overtime thriller as top-seeded Sardis in the boys varsity semifinal fell to 4-seed Glencoe 67-66 on what was a goaltending call at the end of the game, as Wade Seacrest was able to get credit for the game-winning layup to put Glencoe into tomorrow night's championship round.
Yeah, obviously talking about the basket that sealed the win for the Yellow Jackets last night that pushes them on to the championship game here tomorrow.
But, you know, we talked about last night, this is, in talking with all of the coaches, this is kind of what they view as a precursor to the area tournament. And even for a team like Glencoe, the capability to get further into postseason play, if they can certainly play their best basketball when it comes to this time of the year and into February, as far as maybe their hopes for a regional tournament spot. So looks as if that we're going to have starting lineups and the national anthem here from the gymnasium at Glencoe High School. So we'll go ahead and step aside for this timeout, and we'll have tip-off of West End and Glencoe, the final girls varsity semifinal of the Etowah County Tournament, after this on FNN.
At Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, we see our community as extended family.
Hello, I'm Mark Box. My wife Holly and I would like to thank the families that we have had the honor to serve. We see our community as our extended family. That's why we work so hard to invest in our community and the families that call it home. At Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, you'll find services that are tailored to meet your needs, whatever those may be.
Piedmont Cutoff Highway in Glencoe and Highway 431 in Anniston. Our family serving your family.
I am a dreamer who will make a difference in this world.
I am flying to a future of great promise and change.
I am a mentor committed to helping my students transform their lives.
I'm a hard worker striving to build a better Alabama.
I am a go-getter with ambition and drive.
I am a Gadsden State Cardinal.
Watch me.
Watch me.
Watch me fly.
Northeast Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Clinic with Drs. Stewart, Dalphin, Ryan, Kelly, Shaw, Metters, Wilson, and Blackstock is pleased to offer 5 locations to serve the Northeast Alabama area. NEO features on-site physical therapy at their South 4th Street Gadsden, Highway 77 Rainbow City, Highway 431 Boaz, and Fort Payne locations. NEO's Football Injury Clinic runs every Saturday morning at 7:30 a.m. through high school football season at Northeast Orthopedics 4th Street location in Gadsden, keeping you in motion at Gadsden, Rainbow City, Boaz, Setter, and Fort Payne across from Walmart.
From the gymnasium at Glencoe High School, James Hardy and Jim Jacobs with you as we're right at center court here at Glencoe High School, as the starting lineups for both teams about to be announced to the spectators here inside the gymnasium. And Jim, what do you expect to see as we take a look at the 8-person roster for the West End Patriots, and we'll take a look as well here in just a second as far as the Glencoe girls varsity roster this year. But what are kind of some of your expectations for what we're about to see tonight from these two teams?
Well, on paper, we're going to see a blowout, okay? And, you know, if that's the case, James, here's what each coach wants to try to accomplish. If you're West End, you just want to play solid. You want to try to keep the game close. Make sure that you've got a chance going into the second half and into the final quarter to maybe make something special happen. If you're Glencoe, you basically want to come out and put this away quick. I mean, you want to jump up to 15, 20 points advantage and hopefully push it out, get a running clock, because Glencoe's got a really, really tall tree to climb tomorrow night with Sardis if they're able to advance on to the championship round.
And right on cue, there you see the 13 players for the Glencoe Yellow Jackets for head coach Patrick Badgett for the 2022-2023 season. As West End will have Vanessa Aldridge along with Hope Jenkins, Samantha Haynes, Allie Kidd, and Aubrey Haynes as their 5 starters. And the Glencoe Yellow Jacket starters getting introduced themselves to the home fans here at Glencoe High School. And you figure for Coach Badgett as well, Jim, that not only as far as just winning the game in a county tournament setting like this, he also wants his team to play sharp on both ends of the floor.
Oh, no question about it. I mean, you're thinking we're going to play in a championship game tomorrow night. We don't want to come out here and be sloppy and pig the place up. You know, we're going to come out here and play really solid, play good defensively, run great offensive sets, take care of the basketball, not a lot of live ball turnovers. You know, find the open person on the floor for the bucket and, you know, just take care of business. Just be a good, solid basketball team for 32 minutes.
Haley Hanners jumping center for Glencoe, as it'll be West End controlling the tip as they're in the red tops and bottoms and going from our right to left here in the first half.
And, you know, probably one of the last things the coach said to his girls is that as they went out on the floor, there's a turnover, why not us, you know?
So the shot blocked for West End as Autumn Green comes up with the loose ball. As Glencoe on their first offensive possession is the 3 ball up and good for the Yellow Jackets to strike first. So the 3-point basket going to Kinsley Gray, the senior, as the Yellow Jackets get the first 3 points on the scoreboard.
Kind of token full court pressure that the Jackets backed out of relatively quickly.
And, in fact, the pass deflected at the near wing a couple of times and off of before going out of bounds Aubrey Haynes. So officially the first turnover of tonight's ball game for the West End Patriots. Madeline Amberson, Autumn Green, Kinsley Gray, and Haley Hanners among the 5 starters for the Yellow Jackets as the shot up and good for Glencoe.
Jackets 2 for 2 in trips down the floor. That's exactly the kind of start that Coach Badgett wanted to see.
So high efficiency early on, as Jim just mentioned, as the Yellow Jackets now up 5-0. Autumn Green with her first field goal, as driving and almost getting the runner to go was Aldridge, as the offensive rebound for West End, their putback's no good, as the Yellow Jackets of Glencoe will set up their half court. Hanners with the basketball. Now back over to Montgomery as Kinley Montgomery, the final of the 5 starters to mention as far as Glencoe for tonight. A couple of minutes played, almost to the 2-minute mark played here in tonight's semifinal round ball game as the runner no good. Offensive rebound for the Yellow Jackets, but good defense that time underneath the basket for Haynes to force the block shot. And West End now has the basketball.
West End looking to get on the scoreboard for the first time tonight.
West End defeating Gaston in the quarterfinal round Tuesday, 32-26.
Good steal.
And the run out and layup good for 2 as the Glencoe Yellow Jackets now up 7-0. Kinley Montgomery that time on the layup, her first 2 of the ball game. The winner goes on to tomorrow night's championship round. or they'll face Sardis, the number 4 seed, the Lady Lions, as we'll have a whistle and looks like a foul on Glencoe. So it'll be West End basketball as the inbounds pass attempted for Jenkins out of bounds goes off of Glencoe. The Patriots still trying to get on the board here as they're trailing 7-0. About 2 minutes and 40 seconds played so far in the first quarter. A little extracurricular activity there as going for the pass was Haynes as she was knocked to the floor, and the foul goes on Glencoe. So officially that's the first foul as a team on Glencoe and the first for Madeline Amberson.
First quarter action here at Glencoe, the Etowah County Tournament presented by Riverside Fine Jewelers.
Good strong move that time by Aubrey Haynes as she gets the entry pass and was able to lay it up and in for 2 underneath the basket. So West End on the board, still trailing by 5 as Glencoe has led wire to wire through the first 3 minutes and change so far tonight. 3 ball, no good off the back rim, but the offensive board and the stick back is no good for Autumn Green as we'll have a whistle and looks as if that the ball will stay with Glencoe as it goes a jump ball, and so the alternating possession arrow stays with Glencoe. Looks as if the first wave of substitutions about to come in for the Yellow Jackets. As you'll have 2 check out. Looks as if Haley Hanners will be one of those checking out for Glencoe. Inbounds pass coming to the near corner. It's like Sizemore into the ball game as the 3 ball up and good.
Boy.
Popped straight up in the air that time, Jim, and went right through.
You don't see that often.
Madeline Amberson with the 3-point basket.
You call that a kind rim.
The shooter's roll, as they call it.
Yes, sir.
So ball goes out of bounds. Ball goes out of bounds as the ball will stay with, or check that. They say a foul on the full court pressure by Jackson Sizemore. That's her first and the team's second for Glencoe. As driving down the lane is Jenkins as she'll lose it out of bounds. The turnover, second of the night for West End. Rock solid start so far for the Yellow Jackets of Glencoe. They'll have the basketball off to our right. Montgomery thought about it as driving Sizemore floats it up. No. Trying to get her own rebound and does so. She'll tightrope that sideline. And trying to find a teammate as it goes into the backcourt. And so an over and back violation. First turnover of the night for Glencoe. So that means that good out-of-bounds positioning now for West End to try and cut into an 8-point deficit. Here's the return pass to Jenkins as she'll get double-teamed. Puts it up, no, off the front rim. Out of bounds, and it'll stay with West End. Less than 4 minutes left in the opening quarter. And there you see Riverside Fine Jewelers, our presenter, our sponsor for the first quarter.
Getting close to Valentine's Day, James. You better get over there and get you some.
That's right. Here's the inbounds pass. That'll find Samantha Haynes as she'll reset the offense, and now Hope Jenkins with the basketball. Aubrey Haynes has the only field goal so far for West End as they maintain possession as the runner no good off the side rim for Vanessa Aldridge. Rebound goes to Glencoe as they'll push it up the floor. Here's Jackson Sizemore with the skip pass far side as 3 up and no good off the back rim. Rebound to Sizemore. Good pass underneath as the layup attempt no good. But another offensive rebound for Glencoe as it'll be the first foul of the ball game on West End. So they'll whistle the foul on Allie Kidd for West End, her first personal foul.
And we get our first free throws of the night.
Allie Amos, the sophomore at the free throw line, as her free throw rims out no good. And there you see the 5'9" sophomore getting some playing time off the bench tonight. As another substitution, Anna Grace Ponder, the sophomore guard for Glencoe, checks in for the first time tonight. The boys semifinal coming up later on this evening as both free throws no good, but Sizemore gets the offensive rebound but misses the putback as West End corrals the rebound. Vanessa Aldridge on the rebound as the pass goes ahead, as the layup no good on the driving attempt by Aubrey Haynes.
Good catch and attack there, though, James. Just didn't finish.
Yeah, she'd like to have that one back as Sizemore misses her own driving attempt as the ball goes out of bounds to West End. West End hanging around, but still a very solid cushion early on as we've played a little more than 5 minutes of the first quarter. Only 3 fouls so far called between the two teams as Haynes chucks up the three. No, as the rebound goes to Glencoe. The Yellow Jackets want to push the ball in transition as Sizemore spots up and misses the three. Rebound goes to the substitution Ponder as here's a paint shot no good for Glencoe, and the rebound to Haynes as we'll have an official's timeout. And looks as if that will also have a 30-second timeout called for by Jeremy Lax. Had a really good visit with him a couple of days ago as far as just talking about his team. He was, of course, as you would think, really happy about his team's performance Tuesday as far as picking up their first win of the season over Gaston.
Absolutely. Our first timeout of the basketball game. Timeouts tonight and tomorrow night presented by the City of Glencoe, or City of Hokes Bluff, that is, who remind you when it rains, it drains. You got to take care of that drinking water.
Absolutely, and we actually got a little bit of overnight rain between leaving here and coming back here today as far as our coverage for the Etowah County Tournament.
Kind of missed all the bad stuff, though. That never really materialized, did it?
That is always a good thing, and I never mind a little overnight rain as far as ideal sleeping weather.
Absolutely.
Here's the inbounds for West End as they'll go against some Glencoe full court pressure.
You come out of a timeout, James, you want to take care of the basketball and at least run a set and get a shot. And, of course, that has not happened. They turn it over, and there's the quick layup for the Lady Jackets.
It'll be Jackson Sizemore recording her first field goal. Largest lead of the night for Glencoe as they'll get another turnover. Here's a run out as once again Sizemore goes reverse layup this time and scores.
Sizemore attacking the rim, and she's put points in her column for being aggressive.
So 4 points for her as Sizemore leads all scorers. So West End trying to get some momentum going as Sizemore making an impact again as she tried and almost got the steal, but when she got the ball was on the sideline across the way.
Yeah, double-digit lead now for the Lady Jackets. Tough time of the game here for West End. They got to fight and try to stay in this thing.
Approaching 90 seconds left in the first quarter as the running layup attempt for Aldridge no good. Offensive rebound, however, for West End as the three ball is an air ball. As the out of bounds, at least the save for Haynes goes to Glencoe. Yellow Jackets on the push as making the three at the far wing looks like Ponder.
And just like that, the advantage jumps to 15.
So was just 8 points a few seconds ago as the advantage goes up to now 17-2 as check that Gray with her second three as she has 6 points as Haynes answers with the three.
There you go. That's what West End needs.
Aubrey Haynes with all 5 of West End's points so far as we're approaching 40 seconds left in the opening quarter. Here's an open three look, short, no good. As a fight for the offensive rebound as coming in there, Kinley Montgomery forces the tie-up, and the possession arrow goes to West End.
So the Lady Patriots will get a chance to get down the floor and hopefully try to get up another good shot and see if they can convert and tighten up this rubber band a little bit that Glencoe has stretched out on them.
Instead, Sizemore comes up with the steal, goes in for the layup and scores.
Well, you know where she's going when she gets it. Rim.
Well, she's been successful so far with 3 field goals and another steal for Sizemore, but now it'll be West End trying to push it up the floor and a double dribble.
Yep, got both hands on it.
So West End now racking up the turnovers as we come to 19.8 seconds left in the opening quarter as the home team Glencoe and also the higher seed in this matchup leads 19-5.
Kind of look for Glencoe to maybe take the last shot here. We'll see.
Going up against a 2-3 zone as a nice defensive play for West End as Hope Jenkins comes up with the steal. 2 seconds to go. As here's a half-court shot, no good for Samantha Haynes as we're through 1 quarter of play in the girls varsity Etowah County Tournament semifinals as West End trails Glencoe 19-5 here on FNN.
Gotta have a ring first.
Remember, she has to say yes to the ring before she says yes to the dress. Riverside just makes it better.
Through 1 quarter of play, this is the Etowah County Tournament, the girls varsity basketball semifinals, as the winner will face 4th-seeded Sardis tomorrow for the county tournament championship among the girls varsity basketball teams. Your score is 19-5 in favor of Glencoe. James Hardy and Jim Jacobs with you from the gymnasium at Glencoe High School, as this is the first of 2 games we'll be covering tonight. Our back end of the doubleheader will feature number 2 seed Hokes Bluff and number 3 seed Gaston for the boys varsity semifinals.
Yeah, so that side of the bracket held chalk throughout, and we'll see who Glencoe gets tomorrow night.
So it'll be Glencoe with the basketball trying to join their counterparts, the boys varsity team, in the semifinals as they're able to get an early layup that time to begin the second quarter. Autumn Green with the layup. That is her second field goal. Here's a driving attempt for Braylee King into the ball game as the ball's turned over by West End. Another steal for Glencoe, as it'll be Autumn Green, the junior guard, leading the point. Good ball movement so far as the 3-ball up and back rim no good for Glencoe. Solid offensive rebound that time for Gray as the perimeter shot no good. Hustling offensive rebound attempt that time for Green as the ball goes out of bounds and will stay with Glencoe. Patrick Batchett mentioned to me as far as his keys to victory, a one and done on defense, which they've done a very good job of so far, and also hitting their open shots, and they do
just
right
like
on cue there.
One.
So Anna Grace Ponder with her first field goal. Largest lead of the ball game as we go under the 7-minute mark in the first half. The lead for Glencoe. Glencoe just outside of the top 10 this week, according to the Alabama Sports Writers Association top 10 rankings in Class 3A.
In fact, they were the first team outside the top 10, so a ranking awaits these ladies, especially if they can have success here at home tomorrow night.
Here's a new substitution in the ball game as the driving layup attempt is no good for West End. It's like Emma Finch, the junior, that's in the ball game at a low post spot, as we'll have a whistle and a foul right in front of the West End bench on West End. 4 substitutions to check in for the Yellow Jackets. So the first foul of this second quarter for either team will go on Braylee King, her first, and just the second team foul for West End. Here's an open look from the free throw line. That's good. Outstanding out-of-bounds play that time, Jim.
Absolutely.
They're able to get that inbounds to Madeline Amberson as she was able to hit her first 2-point field goal.
Got a late arriving crowd tonight. Not as packed early, but they're starting to file in here.
Floater for Madeline Sneed is no good. On the run is Jackson Sizemore. She'll dish it off to a teammate underneath the basket for 2, as that'll be Autumn Green on her third field goal. She has 6. 27-5 as Glencoe running away with this one. Under 5.5 minutes to go in the first half. Here's a steal.
Great steal. Great steal.
Sizemore very active so far defensively coming off the bench as she lays it in for 2 and has 8 points as we have a dead ball situation in the officials' timeout. So full court pressure for Glencoe as West End will have the basketball. You have Haynes as the shot up and no good for Emma Finch as the rebound going to Glencoe as Sizemore on the run out. She gets pushed from behind in an intentional foul. That would have been a good tackle if we had been covering this game in September, October, and November, Jim.
Block in the back.
So that'll be the foul, an intentional foul on Hope Jenkins. So 2 free throws for Sizemore off to our right.
And the basketball.
Hey, at least give credit to Jenkins. She definitely got her money's worth on that foul. Free throw up and good for Sizemore.
Tell you what, I like her aggression.
There you see the 5'5" senior guard. She'll make both free throws and the first player in double figures for either team with 10 points.
And Glencoe will get the ball under their basket.
So 4 minutes, just approaching that 5-minute mark as here's the 3 ball up and
Bang.
Good for Sizemore. So Jackson Sizemore outscoring at West End by herself 13-5 as Glencoe cruising to a 34-5 first half lead. Here's an up and down traveling violation for Hope Jenkins as she tried to find a teammate. Was stuck in the air and didn't get the ball away in time. Limited numbers this year for West End on their roster. Just 8 players on the roster as the 3 ball no good for Hanners. As the offensive putback no good. As you have both Haynes and Sizemore fight for the jump ball. And it's going to go over on the possession arrow to West End.
And if you're Coach Badgett, James, you got to be real happy with your girls' play so far. I mean, I think they've checked all the boxes that we talked about back at the start of this one.
Yeah, and not a lot of mistakes really to speak of either on both ends of the floor.
You know, and if they keep pressing, we're going to get a running clock in the fourth quarter, which is obviously going to help. He can bring in some players off the bench, rest his starters, and, you know, get them out of here and get them home, get them in bed so that they're ready for tomorrow night because it won't be this easy tomorrow.
Haley Hanners knocked the pass away before resuming play as the 3 ball up and no good for Samantha Haynes as the out-of-bounds ball will go to Glencoe. 4 minutes and change remaining until halftime. I think you can put money on at this point Glencoe advancing to the championship round tomorrow as the 3 no good. Offensive rebound and the stick back for Glencoe good, however. So that field goal going to Madeline Amberson as she has 7. Glencoe in the white tops and bottoms with the gold numbers and letters. And West End in the red tops and bottoms with the white numbers and letters as the pass goes out of bounds off of West End. So the turnover for the Patriots as it was Hope Jenkins that time throwing it away as we have a full timeout coming up. And we'll take this timeout as our second quarter presented to you by McMichael Waste.
Griffin Laser Engraving in Lincoln is your authorized local dealer for personalized Yeti products. Get your Yeti customized for your team, a business, or a special event. Your color, graphics, even photos. At Griffin Laser Engraving, we make it the way you want it. Order just 1 or hundreds, and you'll find a full line of Yeti coolers and accessories on hand, even the hard-to-find items. Nationally recognized, but right here at home in Lincoln for quality awards, trophies, powder coating, and personalized Yeti items, Griffin Laser Engraving.
It's Glencoe 36 and West End 5 in the semifinal round of the Girls Varsity Etowah County Tournament Basketball Tournament. James Hardy and Jim Jacobs with you from Glencoe High School for our second day of coverage of the Etowah County Tournament.
Another City of Hokes Bluff timeout. gives us a chance to catch our breath and thank some of our sponsors. McMichael Waste sponsoring our second quarter here from Glencoe High School, the Etowah County basketball tournament, and Glencoe turning up the throttle on the Patriots.
As the ball whistled back into play as Autumn Green has it. Going against the zone defense. Green drives in, and she'll have 2 free throws coming up as she was fouled on the floating jump shot. So it looks as if that they'll call, I believe, Hope Jenkins, and indeed it is her. The second personal for Hope Jenkins and the 4th team foul here in the first half for West End. Autumn Green to the line, and that free throw off to the side, no good. There you see the 5'7" junior guard for Glencoe. Patrick Batchett describing his team as a very solid defensive team as they miss 2 free throws, but get the offensive rebound as Sizemore kicks out to Green for the 3, no. As the rebound goes to Glencoe as the stick back in for 2 for the Yellow Jackets. So they'll increase their largest lead of the night as Haley Hanners gets on the board, the 5'10" senior forward for the first time tonight.
Got the offensive glass, kicked it off the backboard, and put her name in the scoring column.
In fact, speaking of banking it off the glass, Aubrey Haynes adds to her point total. She has 7. Haynes scored 12 in the first half. In fact, 12 for the ball game as well against Gaston a couple of nights ago for West End. Offensive rebound for Glencoe, as we'll have a foul on Hope Jenkins. That'll be her 3rd personal foul, as Sizemore trying to go after the pass at the free throw line.
Yeah, they had a clear out for her. She flashed to the free throw line, tried to get her the ball, and she'd have basically had a wide open drive to the lane if she were able to handle the pass and not get the foul.
Braylee King checking in for West End. 2:26 remaining until halftime. Half-court offense for Glencoe as the ball goes off of West End out of bounds. You had Aubrey Haynes and also Madeline Sneed knocking the ball away for the Patriots of West End. A nice inbounds scenario that time for Glencoe as good ball movement that time leads to the open layup underneath the basket. So the field goal by Madeline Amberson as a double team leads to a turnover and a foul as you had Sizemore, or at least knocking it out of bounds. Thought they were going to call the foul that time, but they just say it goes out of bounds. It's a fresh 5 set to check in, and indeed checking in for Glencoe. Start of the night so far for Glencoe has been Jackson Sizemore with 13 first half points as we're right at 2 minutes to go until halftime. McMichael Waste presenting our second quarter. This is the girls varsity semifinal at the Etowah County tournament. As a loose ball stolen by West End, and they quickly throw it away. And we'll have a traveling violation after the loose ball was recovered as Libby Huffstetler, the freshman forward, dragged that pivot foot when she got the basketball. So West End will try and get some points on the board as driving will be Aldridge, and we'll have a reach-in foul on Glencoe. So Patrick Batchett going deep into the bench as the first personal will be whistled on Huffstetler. Just the 3rd team foul for Glencoe as the runner no good for Aldridge and the rebound going to Glencoe. So Glencoe trying to keep that 30-plus point advantage as the runner no good, as the putback also no good. Here's the free throw line jumper for Huffstetler, no. The 3rd try at it for Glencoe as a loose ball situation, a jump ball. Or they'll say rather a turnover, I believe, on a traveling violation for Glencoe. So
yeah, camped out in the lane.
So 3 seconds, either way, a turnover for Glencoe. So if you're Glencoe, certainly good to not only see the reserves get in the ball game, but get in the ball game early in what's going to look like a lengthy night for some of the reserves, especially deep in the bench that don't get a lot of playing time. Here's a turnover for West End as Glencoe wants to push the tempo. Emma Croy in the ball game as well for the Yellow Jackets. We go under a minute left in the opening half. Zone defense for West End as the 15-footer no. A loose ball and a tie-up as the possession arrow will keep it with Glencoe. Less than a minute to go until halftime as Aubrey Haynes, who has all 7 of West End's points, back into the ball game. And we'll have another substitution checking in for Glencoe as well. And there you see Anna Grace Ponder that will check into the ball game for the Yellow Jackets. Dribbling the basketball is Kinley Montgomery. Going against the 2-3 zone defense. As Ponder takes a dribble. 23 seconds to go until halftime as the low post pass and a good, strong effort that time for Glencoe. As the layup underneath the basket, good for 2 for number 24, Libby Huffstetler. Her first field goal of the ball game as we're under 10 seconds until halftime. Haynes trying to find an open bench but overthrows her out of bounds.
Tossed it away. Turnover, Glencoe gets it back.
3.7 seconds to go. Probably time for one last heave attempt. As the shot good if it goes and no good at the near corner as we are at halftime. As your score is Glencoe 42 and West End 7 as McMichael Waste presents our second quarter, and we now go to halftime here at the Etowah County Basketball Tournament on FNN.
At Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, we see our community as extended family.
Hello, I'm Mark Box. My wife Holly and I would like to thank the families that we have had the honor to serve. We see our community as our extended family. That's why we work so hard to invest in our community and the families that call it home. At Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, you'll find services that are tailored to meet your needs, whatever those may be.
Piedmont Cutoff Highway in Glencoe and Highway 431 in Anniston. Our family serving your family.
Northeast Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Clinic with Drs. Stewart, Douthit, Ryan, Kelly, Shaw, Metters, Wilson, and Blackstock is pleased to offer 5 locations to serve the Northeast Alabama area. NEO features on-site physical therapy at their South 4th Street Gadsden, Highway 77 Rainbow City, Highway 431 Boaz, and Fort Payne locations. NEO's Football Injury Clinic runs every Saturday morning at 7:30 a.m. through high school football season at Northeast Orthopedics 4th Street location in Gadsden, keeping you in motion at Gadsden, Rainbow City, Boaz, Center, and Fort Payne across from Walmart.
Gotta have a ring first. Remember, she has to say yes to the ring before she says yes to the dress. Riverside just makes it better.
I am a dreamer who will make a difference in this world.
I'm flying to a future of great promise and change.
I am a mentor committed to helping my students transform their lives.
I'm a hard worker striving to build a better Alabama.
I am a go-getter with ambition and drive.
I am a Gaston State Cardinal.
Watch me.
Watch me.
Watch me fly.
At halftime at the gymnasium at Glencoe High School, it's Glencoe 42 and West End 7. James Hardy and Jim Jacobs with you as Northeast Orthopedic Sports Clinic and Physical Therapy present our coverage of the Etowah County basketball tournament for 2023. This is the final day of the semifinals for the girls varsity and boys varsity teams here in Etowah County, and the championship Friday is tomorrow as the first game for the ladies will begin at 6:15 tomorrow, followed by the boys varsity championship sometime around 7:30. So once again, your score 42-7 in favor of Glencoe over West End, as looking at the scoring totals for our ball game. Jackson Sizemore with 13 points to lead all scores. She's followed behind by Madeline Amberson with 9. 6 each for Kinsley Gray and Autumn Green. And 2 points each for Kinley Montgomery, Haley Hanners, Libby Huffstetler, and Anna Grace Ponder. And all 7 points for West End belong to Aubrey Haynes. Not a lot of fouls were recorded in the first half, just 3 as a team for Glencoe, and 5 as a team for West End, as 3 of those went to Hope Jenkins. We'll step aside for a brief moment, and we'll have a visit with Patrick Badgett by Jim Jacobs after this.
At Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, we see our community as extended family.
Hello, I'm Mark Box. My wife Holly and I would like to thank the families that we have had the honor to serve. We see our community as our extended family. That's why we work so hard to invest in our community and the families that call it home. At Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, you'll find services that are tailored to meet your needs, whatever those may be.
Piedmont Cutoff Highway in Glencoe and Highway 431 in Anniston. Our family serving your family.
From Glencoe High School, we're at halftime, about 4 minutes and change away from resuming play and beginning the second half. We'll send it down to our very own Jim Jacobs with Glencoe head coach Patrick Badgett.
All right, thanks a lot, James. Coach, I guess pretty much how you probably drew it up before it started.
Well, we know we just want to. It's been a while since we played, and I told you we want to knock some rust off. We were rusty to start this thing. We just got to get in the right spots and try to execute what we're trying to do. And got to keep playing, got to keep growing, use these last 16 minutes and continue to get better.
Coach, talk a little bit about what you said to the girls at the half about how important it is to finish this game regardless of what's up on that scoreboard.
That's like I tell them every day, you're either going forward or you're going backwards. And right now we've got to keep going forward. We don't want to stay the same. We got to keep executing what we're trying to do. And hope that we just keep playing hard. We got to get ready to go.
Sizemore's had an incredible first half for you.
Yeah, she is. She's a warrior. She's going to play hard. She's our leader, and you just can't rattle her. She's tough as a truck, man. She's all the time. She's ready to go, and she's just a great kid to have.
I think I said on the air just a few minutes ago about her, if she gets it, you know where she's going with it.
Oh yeah, she's going downhill. She's downhill wide open. She's as tough as nails. So yeah, she's having a great first half.
Well, Coach, I know we've got another 16 minutes to play, but I think I'm safe in saying we'll see you tomorrow night.
Well, we got to keep playing. We got to keep growing. We're going to this, 32-minute game, so we got to finish it out strong.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Of course, Coach Padgett there always being a good coach there as far as never taking anything for granted. But when you look at the scoreboard right now, it definitely looks as if that you can go ahead and put in pin Glencoe into that championship round for tomorrow. We'll have the boys varsity semifinal following the conclusion of our game that you're watching right now, Glencoe and West End. So let's go ahead and take our final halftime timeout as Northeast Orthopedic Sports Clinic and Physical Therapy presents our Etowah County basketball tournament on FNN.
Northeast Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Clinic with Doctors Stewart, Douthit, Ryan, Kelly, Shaw, Metters, Wilson, and Blackstock is pleased to offer 5 locations to serve the Northeast Alabama area. NEO features on-site physical therapy at their South 4th Street Gadsden, Highway 77 Rainbow City, Highway 431 Boaz, and Fort Payne locations. NEO's Football Injury Clinic runs every Saturday morning at 7:30 a.m. through high school football season at Northeast Orthopedics 4th Street location in Gadsden, keeping you in motion at Gadsden, Rainbow City, Boaz, Center, and Fort Payne across from Walmart.
From center court here at the gymnasium at Glencoe High School as Gadsden State Community College, just a stone's throw from where we're at here in Glencoe, presents our halftime coverage here for the Etowah County Basketball Tournament, the girls varsity basketball semifinals.
And, of course, James, you know, we heard from Coach Badgett kind of what we expected to hear. You know, you can't quit playing. You got to stay sharp. You know, you got a big game tomorrow night here in front of the home crowd. This place will be standing room only, regardless of who matches up in the boys contest, because both Glencoe teams are going to be playing here tomorrow night.
And like we kind of talked about in our pregame, Jim, and even with what Coach Badgett was alluding to in your visit, Jim, this is as much not about winning the ball game. In fact, we know who's, as far as Glencoe punching their ticket to tomorrow, but just kind of getting some momentum, establishing some momentum, and having some positive carryover into tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, we have this opportunity before we get ready for the second half. Let's throw up our sponsors for this week's tournament coverage here at Glencoe High School. Of course, Northeast Alabama Orthopedics. They are our presenting sponsor. They are the folks, Dr. Douthit and the rest of the doctors there, doing a great job, of course, with all the schools throughout the region, presenting the Etowah County tournament here, the semifinals and finals. Then, of course, Alabama Teachers Credit Union, Glencoe, Hokes, Bluff Funeral Home and Crematory, Gadsden State Community College, McMichael Waste, and Riverside Fine Jewelers as we get ready to go for the final 32 minutes or 16 minutes, I guess.
There you go. It may be 32 seconds, especially if this game gets to a running clock in the fourth quarter. Aubrey Haynes inbounds for West End, and quickly a foul called on Glencoe right in front of the West End bench. Only 8 fouls combined called between the two teams in the first half, but picking up the first foul of this second half is Kinsley Gray for Glencoe. So West End will quickly turn it over as Glencoe on a 3-on-2 break. As underneath the basket, laying it in for 2 is Danielson. So the layup good for Glencoe as they get the first 2 points of the second half to extend their lead up to 37.
Wow. Big numbers.
So another turnover as Glencoe on the break, and trying to pass it up was Hanners as her pass goes out of bounds. So deflected off of West End as it'll be Glencoe basketball underneath the basket to our left. So here's a free throw line jumper, short, no good, as the rebound will go to West End.
We'll get the score back up on the screen for you. You can see that Glencoe has just, pushed this advantage way out.
Yeah, check that Amberson on the opening layup that time for Glencoe as once again West End turns it over. 1 minute played here in the third quarter. As it's just a matter of how big that Glencoe will run away with this one as Sizemore gets fouled inside the free throw line. And so she'll have free throws coming up. Jackson Sizemore with 13 first half points has had an outstanding first half. And I know you had a nice visit with Coach Badgett as far as his comments on Sizemore as the free throw up and good. In my visit with Coach Badgett earlier this week, Jackson Sizemore he described as far as her love for being on the floor and a steady leader by example for Glencoe. as the second of 2 free throws is no good. 1 of 2 for Sizemore from the free throw line, so she has now 14 points. Here's Haynes underneath the basket, shoots and misses on the layup as the rebound goes out of bounds off of Glencoe. So 45-7, the lead for Glencoe, as we'll have second-seeded Hokes Bluff and third-seeded Gaston as far as our boys varsity semifinal after this one. About 15 to 20 minutes following the conclusion of this game as Sizemore gets the steal. On the run out, she will miss the layup. That was a tough layup attempt that time as the rebound going to West End. Samantha Haynes on the rebound as Hope Jenkins will dribble and she'll turn it over. Here's a run out for Sizemore. Goes in and gets the easy layup for 2. So Sizemore with 16. Largest lead of the night for Glencoe as they have led wire to wire so far tonight. Under 6 minutes to go in the third quarter as it'll be King into the ball game. And now driving and missing the runner will be Jenkins, but the putback is up and good, however, for West End. So it'll be Hope Jenkins getting her own rebound and recording her first 2 of the night. As the high post to Hanners. Here's the kick out pass for the 3 up and no good. Rebound goes to Hanners, though, as she'll have free throws after getting fouled underneath the basket. So it'll be the first team foul of the second half coming up. Check that, the second team foul of this half for West End, and it'll be the second personal for Allie Kidd. Free throw no good that time, as there you see Hanners, the senior, 5'10", as we'll have a substitution checking in for West End. Second free throw good for Hanners as she has 3. So we'll have 5 fresh players for Glencoe checking in as Coach Patrick Batchett emptying the bench.
Yep, going to get the subs in, got to rest the starters. A big one here tomorrow night for the Lady Jackets.
Patrick Batchett describing his squad this year as a hard-working group that's played very consistently all season long.
What I've been most impressed with, James, is it looks like to me they just don't do a lot to beat themselves.
Running shot no good from about 4 feet away for West End. As Glencoe will have the basketball. Anna Grace Ponder at the point. Here's a traveling violation at the far wing as Allie Amos, the sophomore forward, on the travel. Yeah, that's always a good characteristic, especially for a well-coached team, is not beating yourself.
Of course, they'll see defensive pressure tomorrow night way more than what they've seen tonight.
And the pass for West End, nobody touches it as it goes out of bounds. So the turnover for the West End Patriots as they're trying to crack double figures for the game. West End with 7 of their 9 points from Aubrey Haynes. Jackson Sizemore leads all scores for Glencoe with 16. Approaching 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Here's the pull-up jumper, no good for Montgomery. As the offensive rebound and put back no, and West End will get the ball as Glencoe touches it last out of bounds. So the Patriots will walk it up the floor. Jeremy Lax described his team coming into this weekend as playing some of their best basketball in a tough season for them, winless coming into this week, but picking up their first win of the season Tuesday night in the quarterfinals of this Etowah County tournament over Gaston. And Lax really just wants his team, as far as going down the stretch, to just continue to get better with each game that they play.
Yeah, low numbers. They're pretty young, James, and, they've just got to keep playing. That's all you can do.
There's a tough shot on good defense by West End as the rebounding foul looks as if we'll go on Glenn. Let's see who they call it on. I think they will call it on. So it'll be the third team foul for West End, as it will be called on West End. So there you see Allie Amos going to the line. And she'll make the first free throw. So you had a couple of players there that were fighting for the ball for West End. So 3 team fouls for them as Amos makes both free throws. I have 9 different players for Glencoe among their 13 on the roster that have at least scored 2 points tonight. So good contributions throughout the roster as Haynes' floater misses, gets her own rebound, and sticks it in for 2. Good determination that time by Aubrey Haynes as she was able to follow up her own shot, as she now has 9 points.
I was going to say she has most of them.
All but 2 of them, in fact. A good block shot that time for West End, as coming up with the loose ball was Samantha Haynes. Here's Hope Jenkins driving, and illegal screen for West End. So the foul going on the Patriots as Glencoe will have the basketball.
Alabama Teachers Credit Union presenting our third quarter here at Glencoe High School. The girls semifinal number 2 between the number 2 seeded Glencoe Lady Yellow Jackets and the 6th seeded West End Patriots.
Coach Batchett for Glencoe going into his bench as you have Montgomery at the far wing. Gets the return pass from Ponder going up against the zone. As Montgomery now with the basketball and drags the pivot foot. So turnover for Glencoe as West End will try and add to their point total. 9 for Aubrey Haynes and the other 2 from Hope Jenkins.
Coming up after this one, it'll be boys semifinal number 2, the 3 seed Gaston. Coach Michael Merriman taking on the Hokes Bluff Eagles.
Allie Amos knocks the pass out of bounds for Glencoe as West End will maintain possession. Here's a driving layup for Aldridge, no good as the rebound going to Glencoe. Ponder on the break, open for the pull-up, good for 2. Nice pull-up jumper from about 14 at the elbow on the fast break for Anna Grace Ponder. Her first points of the second half, second field goal for the ball game. Loose ball goes to West End as they'll have 2 free throws on the Glencoe foul. Madeline Sneed will try for her first points, as that'll be Anna Grace Ponder's first personal foul and just the second team foul in the third quarter for Glencoe. First free throw up, and that's off the front rim, no good. Madeline Sneed, a freshman guard for West End. Just 8 players on the roster, 1 junior along with 4 seniors and the rest freshmen. And Madeline Sneed, as you see, one of those freshmen, she'll bank her first point off from the free throw line off the glass and in. 40-point lead for Glencoe. Here's a nice dump down pass from Autumn Green as she'll get the assist to Amberson. Madeline Amberson with 13 points. As the largest lead of the night now for Glencoe, up 42. As losing it and still getting it before it gets across the timeline was Aldridge. We're under 2 minutes to go as Haynes will bank home the 3.
Wow.
So Aubrey Haynes with 12 points ties her 12 points that she had against Gaston a couple of nights ago. 3 ball up and good at the far wing. So that time it was Kinsley Gray with her third triple as she has 9. So Glencoe will have their spot in the championship round tomorrow in about 9 minutes and 10 seconds, including the rest of this third quarter and all of the fourth quarter. West End with the basketball is Jenkins on the runner, no good as it pops out. Rebound to Sizemore. As she'll lead the break, goes into the basket, gets free, and lays it in for 2. The 5'5 senior guard Jackson Sizemore with 18 points to lead all scorers. Under a minute to go in the third quarter. We'll see a running clock in the fourth quarter as a loose ball corralled that time by Vanessa Aldridge as she'll throw it away. 30.8 seconds to go. As this will likely be the final offensive possession of the third quarter that we'll see for Glencoe. Madeline Amberson will inbound to Jackson Sizemore, as it appears that Glencoe will indeed hold for the final shot of the third quarter. So you got Amberson, Green, as well as Gray. Hanners at the high post in the ball game among the current 5 on the floor for Glencoe. 5 seconds to go as Amberson underneath the basket will go to the free throw line for a pair. A good sharp pass from Autumn Green at the near wing as the foul going on Glencoe. So that'll be the second personal foul for Madeline Sneed. There you see Sizemore making the first of 2 free throws. 19 points for her. 4.1 seconds left in the third quarter. As the free throw no good, as the rebound goes off of West End out of bounds. You had Hanners along with Sneed try and fight for the basketball. As the inbounds pass, nice little out of bounds play as the three no good from the far wing for Gray. As we're through 3 quarters of play, as Glencoe leads 60-15 over West End here on FNN.
Gotta have a ring first. Remember, she has to say yes to the ring before she says yes to the dress. Riverside just makes it better.
Final 8 minutes of play coming up, as it's been all Glencoe tonight in the girls' varsity semifinal, as Glencoe will face number 4 seed Sardis tomorrow night to begin Championship Friday here on FNN. James Hardy, Jim Jacobson, the rest of our FNN crew here at the gymnasium at Glencoe High School.
Well, you know what the truth is, James? They can't all be great.
That's right. That's that. Hey, when you have 2 dramatic finishes like we did last night, as don't forget, go on to our FNN Facebook page and give us your vote for Team of the Year from the 2022 high school football season. As play underway as the pass knocked out of bounds by West End.
Yeah, we're not too far away from voting being done for that, as well as far as the fan side of it goes. There's a couple of more components that will actually determine which one of those 4 teams that you saw there on the screen a moment ago will get the nod and get the big trophy for FNN's first Team of the Year. We'll award that on awards night on March the 15th at the Oxford Civic Center.
Always a grand event for us, and certainly looking forward to being back at the Oxford Civic Center for our award show and banquet here in a couple, less than 2 months now.
Yeah, there you see it on the screen right there. Awards night and dinner. We'll eat, we'll dress up, we'll clean up, and hand out some hardware.
There you go. Missed shot by West End as the runner no good for Glencoe, as the rebound going to Allie Kidd. Also, of course, when it comes to awards night, we'll have our Player of the Year and Coach of the Year.
And voting underway for both of those right now. Lots of things for you to vote for right now as Glencoe gets a breakaway and an easy bunny.
Sizemore up to 21 points. As we'll have a timeout on the floor as the score now up to 62-15 in favor of Glencoe.
Yeah, got a timeout on the floor presented by the city of Hokes Bluff. The mayor of Hokes Bluff will join us at halftime of our next contest when his Eagles will be here to take on the Gaston Bulldogs, Coach Michael Merriman. That's up next, but right now a City of Hokes Bluff timeout here on the floor at Glencoe High School, the Etowah County basketball tournament.
30-second timeout called for by Glencoe, but timeouts not an issue with the wire-to-wire lead so far for Glencoe, as they lead by 47 points with 6.5 and a little bit of change left in this semifinal round girls varsity game for the Etowah County tournament.
Final quarter here presented by Hokes Bluff, or Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Crematory. Of course, that's the Box family, and we appreciate their support of FNN this week here in Etowah County.
West End has the basketball. Still looks like might have gotten deflected, but they say that it goes off of West End out of bounds. Thought that pass might have gone off of one of the Glencoe defenders, but again, the officials say it doesn't. So the Glencoe Yellow Jackets will have the basketball. Glencoe playing their first game of the tournament this week. This is the second game in the last 3 days for West End. Nice half-court movement, but equally better defense for West End, as Glencoe will have 2 free throws coming up. It'll be Haley Hanners with 3 points going to the free throw line.
And you know, in a game where you've got all the subs in, that the whistle is going to be something that's going to be frequent. So kind of great we've got this running clock going to kind of keep this agony from stretching itself out any longer.
Free throw is no good for Hanners, as she'll have one more coming up. Free throw up, and that's also no good as the rebound goes to Hope Jenkins. Back behind the defense, here's Braylee King missing the layup as the rebound goes initially to Glencoe, as it'll be West End getting the steal and a foul on the Yellow Jackets. So Glencoe will pick up their third team foul, I beg your pardon.
Well, James, we can start looking ahead to tomorrow night on the girls' side. Glencoe and Sardis, what kind of matchup do you see there?
I see a physical matchup, kind of a couple of teams that are very scrappy teams, and I think kind of a defensive-oriented game that we'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to which one of the two can impose some defensive pressure on the other team and make it effective.
Here's a third try at it for West End, as making her first field goal. First points for Allie Kidd off the offensive rebound. Yeah, so it'll be our first game of the night tomorrow for Championship Friday between Sardis and Glencoe.
And is that a 6 o'clock tip?
That I have it as 6:15.
Okay. So just like tonight.
Pretty much. Here's the 3 ball, no good. As the rebound goes to West End. Ball going out of bounds, so it'll stay on this end of the floor and go over to Glencoe, as a couple of substitutions, in fact 3 substitutions for Jeremy Lax and the West End Patriots.
And that's about all they've got.
Well, when you only have 8 players.
Yep. 5 and 3 is 8.
the negative side for the coach is that you're real thin, but the good thing is you're not fighting for a lot of playing time when it comes to your bench.
Yeah, but how do you practice with 8?
This is true as well. Your guess is as good as mine on that one, Jim.
Never seen that work out too well. I'll have to ask one of my coaching buddies, how do you practice with 8?
I'm sure we could probably ask our man Eddie Bullock sometime about that too.
Well, Eddie just look at you and laugh and say, I don't know.
Turnover for West End as the clock continues to run toward the end of the ball game.
And of course, our buddy Coach Bullock has advanced into the championship game tomorrow night with his Lady Anniston Bulldogs over in Calhoun County.
Eddie, of course, a veteran coach from around our area and a part of our football coverage during the fall.
Good steal there.
Steal, and the layup is good for 2 to make it now 69-19. And that was Hope Jenkins on her second field goal of the night.
As we get set to go under 2.5.
And it'll be a turnover for Glencoe, as And we're just kind of counting things down on the running clock. A solid victory tonight for Glencoe as they'll improve what's been a solid season already at 13-5. They'll improve to 14-5 in 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing them in Sardis. It ought to be a good one.
Here's the layup that's good for two. As Kinley Montgomery with her third and fourth points of the night on her second field goal. Under 2 minutes to go in the girls' varsity semifinal round game. Loose ball and another steal for Glencoe. As they'll push it up the floor with Montgomery as she'll back it out. Here's Ponder with the three. That's good. Anna Grace Ponder with a solid offensive game with 7 points, including her first three ball that you just saw. 90 seconds left in this ball game. So looking ahead for, first off, for West End, they'll have their final home game of the season coming up on January 24th against Coosa Christian, and then 4 road games to close out the season. 3 ball no good for Ponder as the rebound will be saved inbounds by Braylee King. Approaching the 1 minute mark as Aldridge with the basketball, finding Aubrey Haynes as she'll miss the layup as the rebound goes to Glencoe. Anna Grace Ponder with the basketball as we'll have a timeout to get some substitutions in for both teams with now 50 seconds and change left in the game.
Yep, both teams emptying the benches, so to speak. Not that they haven't already. It's a 30-second timeout presented by the city of Hokes Bluff, reminding you when it rains, it drains.
Solid ball game tonight for Aubrey Haynes as she has 12 points to lead West End, and then leading all scorers for Glencoe, Jackson Sizemore with 21.
She's had a heck of a night, but she's going to have the same kind of night tomorrow night, I think, for Glencoe to have success in the championship game.
So a timeout to get the rest of the substitutions into the ball game for both teams. So you have Montgomery along with Huffstetler. A couple of those players that I see on the floor along with Ponder for Glencoe.
And we'll run out the final 50 seconds here, presented by Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Crematory.
Emma Croy also in the game as she'll think about and now try the three. No, as the rebound goes to Ponder. 35 seconds to go in the ball game. Here's Croy finding Montgomery as the turnaround. That's off the glass, no good. And the rebound goes out of bounds to West End. So they'll just drain out the final 17 seconds or so as you have the running clock in effect for this fourth quarter. And so this will be the final possession for either team tonight. So one more chance to score points for West End as that shot no good from the far wing for Samantha Haynes. As the game is in the books and Glencoe gets the victory 67-19 as we'll step aside for this timeout here on FNN.
gentlemen, if I can have your attention. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll direct your attention to mid-court, we now have a presentation of the 2022 All Etowah County Football Awards. Assisting in the presentation will be Superintendent of Etowah County Schools, Dr. Alan Cosby. State Board of Education Representative Ms. Marie Manning. Etowah County Board Members Scarlett Farley and Tim Langdale. Hokes Bluff Mayor Scott Reeves. Glencoe City Councilman Jeff Little. Etowah County Commissioners Jenny Grant. Etowah County Probate Judge Scott Haskell. Etowah County Sheriff Jonathan Porter. And Alabama State Representative Mark Gidley. Our All Etowah County Football Awards for 2022. From Southside, Mason T. From Sardis, Garrett Burns. We ask if you receive an award, if you would, make your way to Dr. Cosby, and please remain at the free throw line on the home end for a picture including all awards. From Glencoe, Owen Fairley. From Hokes Bluff, Connor Masters. From West End, Josh Carroll. From Gaston, Nehemiah Samples. From Southside, Cody Roberts. From Sardis, Gage Garner. From Glencoe, Garrett Gaston. From Hokes Bluff, Noah Sprayberry. From West End, Rockland Sainsbury. From Gaston, Kyle Pitts. From Southside, Jacob Strunk. From Sardis, Blaze Gerhardt. From Glencoe, Taylor Westcott. From Hokes Bluff, Cole Stone. From West End, Thad Peters. From Gaston, Luke Collinsworth. From Southside, Mark Fuller. Sardis, Jose Pine. From Glencoe, Gavin Bray. From Hokes Bluff, Caleb Koshat. From West End, Dakota McKay. From Gaston, Josh Hester.
Have a seat right there, Doc. We'll get you here.
The gymnasium at Glencoe High School. It is our final game of the night, the final semifinal game for the boys varsity squads here in the Etowah County tournament. It'll feature the 3rd seed Gaston and the 2nd seed Hokes Bluff here on FNN as our coverage at the Etowah County tournament presented to you by Northeast Orthopedic Sports Clinic and Physical Therapy. James Hardy, as well as Jim Jacobs and the rest of our FNN crew with you, and one more team to determine, Jim, who goes on to the finals tomorrow.
3 lines filled in, one more spot left, James, and we're about to determine who it's going to be here coming up in just a few minutes. As there you see, I believe this is some of the football players maybe being recognized from the county.
That's right. It's their basically the Etowah County Football Awards kind of a show. We'll call it here, as far as some of the fine Etowah County football players getting recognized for their contributions in the 2022 season. Quickly, you have Gaston coming in at 6-10 overall on the season. They have not won an area game so far this year. And for Hokes Bluff, a solid 10-3 mark, 5-1 in Area 12 of Class 3A, as these two teams have already met so far this year, and it was Hokes Bluff coming out with the victory in the prior meeting so far this year. So we'll go ahead and step aside for our first break, and we'll have, I believe, one of our special guests coming up, Jim.
Yep. Dr. Butch Douthit from NEO will be joining us here shortly, right after we come back to Glencoe here on the Friday Night Network.
Northeast Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Clinic with Drs. Stewart, Douthit, Ryan, Kelly, Shaw, Metters, Wilson, and Blackstock is pleased to offer 5 locations to serve the Northeast Alabama area. NEO features on-site physical therapy at their South 4th Street Gadsden, Highway 77 Rainbow City, Highway 431 Boaz, and Fort Payne locations. NEO's Football Injury Clinic runs every Saturday morning at 7:30 a.m. through high school football season at Northeast Orthopedics 4th Street location in Gadsden. Keeping you in motion at Gadsden, Rainbow City, Boaz, Center, and Fort Payne across from Walmart.
Griffin Laser Engraving in Lincoln is your authorized local dealer for personalized Yeti products. Get your Yeti customized for your team, a business, or a special event. Your color, graphics, even photos. At Griffin Laser Engraving, we make it the way you want it. Order just one or hundreds, and you'll find a full line of Yeti coolers and accessories on hand, even the hard-to-find items. Nationally recognized, but right here at home in Lincoln for quality awards, trophies, powder coating, and personalized Yeti items, Griffin Laser Engraving.
And welcome back to Glencoe High School as we continue here at Glencoe for the Etowah County Tournament. Jim Jacobs joined now by Dr. Butch
No,
Douthit
I don't think so. I don't know. I think she did. I got
Alabama
Let me come on the radio.
Medical Center as we get set to get the basketball game here underway. The final boys semifinal game. A lot of stuff going on here as I think an all-county team recognized here during the break between the two games tonight. Dr. Douthit, thanks a lot for joining us. Glad to have you.
Yes, sir. It's my privilege to be here. This is real exciting. It's a good group out here tonight.
Absolutely. We had you think it was crowded tonight. You should have been here last night.
That's what I heard. I heard of some great games last night. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. We had two buzzer beaters last night. Well, let's talk about Neo a little bit.
Yes, sir.
You guys, I mean, obviously you're the standard, I think it's fair to say, in this part of the state of Alabama.
Yes, sir.
You've grown to, what, 5 locations now, I think?
Yes, sir. We have 2 in Gaston, and we're in Boaz. We have Fort Payne. We have Center, and our newest location will be in Jacksonville, hopefully by April or May.
Okay, so you're growing on over into Calhoun County some.
Yes, sir. We sure are. We've got a new partner coming in, Connor Reed. Connor grew up in Alexandria, so we're really excited to have him coming back with us this summer.
Dr. Douthit, sports medicine has become such a big thing with taking care of these athletes and helping them recover quickly and even better than before they were injured. Talk a little bit about how your profession has basically grown up over the last 15 or 20 years.
Yes, sir, it has. I mean, it's just to see the changes in sports medicine. I mean, from the time that we see the patient, with the MRIs, with the equipment now that we have and the way we have to fix things, and then being able to get them involved in physical therapy and have the athletic trainers at the school and the parents involved in it, it's really made a big change over the last few years. We really focused on, trying to get these kids back safely, number one, and then get them back as quick as we can.
And I think that starts probably with your training program at the schools, because you guys have active people at a lot of the schools here in this part of the state.
Yes, sir. We pretty much cover Etowah County here. We've got some trainers all the way up to Fife now. So we, and like I said, we have trainers in Piedmont, and we got trainers in Alexandria. So we're spreading out across the whole northeast up here.
And I tell you what, being based here in Etowah County, the football news the last week or so in this part of the state has been pretty intense, with Coach Smith coming over to Westbrook Christian, and then the announcement about Coach Probst joining them at Coosa Christian. I think football is healthy and well in Etowah County.
Yes, sir. It sure is. I mean, just look at the teams last year that from this area that, that made it all the way to the semifinals and some to the finals. And, I mean, we've got some great teams around here, some outstanding coaches, and it's only getting better.
And, of course, you guys are so involved in all of the sports and all of the schools. I mean, I look over to my right. There's a Neo banner on the wall here at Glencoe. How in the world do you keep up with all of it?
Well, I tell you, first of all, I'm surrounded with great partners.
Yep.
I have fantastic partners. We have a fantastic staff at our office, and from all the way from the people that help us call in and collect appointments to the MRI scanners to our physical therapy. I mean, we all feel like we've got a top-notch bunch. We're very pleased and very happy, very fortunate, very blessed to have be surrounded by good people, and I think that's important.
Normally when a student or some parents is talking to you, it's on the bad end of something that needs fixing. sitting here talking with us tonight before we let you go and enjoy this game, what would your message be to parents with children that are playing athletics now? What would you say to parents about letting children participate?
Well, first of all, I'm a big believer in athletics.
Absolutely.
I was an athlete myself, and I'm a big believer. There's so many things that you learn from being involved in a team sport. I mean, all these things carry over to life. I mean, we all have ups and downs every day in life. I think football and basketball, baseball, soccer, all these things give the kids an opportunity to start experiencing this early, learning how to deal with these things, because that's the way life is. Sometimes life throws a curveball at you, and you just have to handle it.
Yeah,
and it's good. It shows people how to get along. So I'm a big believer in athletics. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Douthit, thank you so much for joining us here this evening.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you so much for your participation at the clinics level, and we look forward to being with you on many other things in the future.
Yes, sir. I want to thank you for having us on. We really do appreciate this, and it's been my pleasure. And, yes, sir, appreciate for what you all do for athletics in this area.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, Dr. Butch Douthit from NEO, Northeast Alabama Physical Therapy. And, you know, James, as we turn back to the ball game, you know, a lot of the festivities now out of the way. Teams will get a chance to run out on the floor here and get warmed up and get ready to play here in our final semifinal game. But great to hear Dr. Douthit join us here from NEO, because they are really, in this part of the state, they're the top of the food chain.
Hey, it's always good. We see especially during the football season, how important the medical personnel are as far as keeping our athletes healthy each and every week during whether football or basketball season, all throughout the course of the calendar year. So both of the teams that we're featuring as far as the boys varsity semifinal just coming out for warm-ups on the floor. Gaston, the 3 seed, and Hokes Bluff, the 2 seed in this Etowah County tournament. And Hokes Bluff Gym comes into this week ranked in the top 10 in the Class 3A statewide rankings at number 9, according to the Alabama Sports Writers Association.
Yeah, these two teams have played one another twice. Of course, Hokes Bluff's won them both, so Gadsden's going to have to find a way to knock off the favorite.
Absolutely, but, as we saw with both teams getting knocked off, as for top seeds getting knocked off last week, you never know what can happen. We'll take this time out, and we'll have more of our pregame as the Etowah County Basketball Tournament presented to you by Northeast Orthopedic Sports Clinic and Physical Therapy.
At Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, we see our community as extended family.
Hello, I'm Mark Box. My wife Holly and I would like to thank the families that we have had the honor to serve. We see our community as our extended family. That's why we work so hard to invest in our community and the families that call it home. At Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, you'll find services that are tailored to meet your needs, whatever those may be.
Piedmont Cutoff Highway in Glencoe and Highway 431 in Anniston. Our family serving your family.
From the gymnasium at Glencoe High School here in Etowah County, James Hardy with you as we're continuing our pregame coverage for the semifinals of the boys varsity portion of the Etowah County Tournament, and we'll send it down courtside to our very own Jim Jacobs.
All right, thanks a lot, James, here with Coach Michael Merriman. And first off, you look weird in red and black to me.
Well, this is where I graduated from, so this is my home colors.
So I know it's what you're used to, but it's not what I'm used to.
Yeah, that's right. You're looking for that White Plains blue and white. I know what you were looking for.
All right, let's talk about tonight's game. Enough of the niceties. A couple of losses to Hokes Bluff. What was your message to the kids to get ready for tonight?
Well, I mean, Hokes Bluff is very well coached. Coach Presley does an unbelievable job. You know, they're good. And they got a good record for a reason. You know, so last time we played them, we battled them pretty tough, made some leadway with them. Got better playing them, and at the end of the day, we got to do what we do and go out there and play as hard as we can, try to execute, and see what God takes care of the rest.
Coach, what has to happen for you to have a successful night, though? I mean, in the X's and O's standpoint, what's got to happen?
Well, it's just about execution. I mean, we got to set good screens. They're really good defensively, so we got to help each other get open. But when we get our opportunities, we got to take advantage of them. You know, they do a really good job making everything that you do hard to get. So when we get good looks, we got to put them in. And then on the defensive end, we're just going to have to lock down and really play. They move the basketball well. We're going to have to communicate and really lock in.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you to Michael Merriman, head coach for Gaston, who's playing their second game of this county tournament after defeating West End in their opening quarterfinal round game a couple of nights ago, 59-48, the win for Gaston over West End on Tuesday night. With Jim making his way over to the opposite sideline, we'll send it back to our very own Jim Jacobs.
Thanks again, James. Caught up with Coach Presley now down here on the green side of the floor.
Absolutely.
Coach, talk a little bit about your team and your message to these guys after, coming in here playing a team you've already knocked off twice this year.
Well, that's one of the biggest problems. We can't overlook them. With the last time we played them, they really made them big jumps. Coach Merriman's only had them for about 2 or 3 months, didn't have a summer with them, so you could really see the growth that they've had. So really worried about that. We haven't played all week, so we haven't played in 5 days. So my message to them was we got to come here and not take them lightly, and we also got to come in and get a quick start.
Coach, of course, Glencoe awaits the winner of this. You guys are big rivals, and,
sure.
You obviously don't want your kids to look past tonight to tomorrow night.
Oh, absolutely not. I saw Glencoe play last night. They played great basketball. It was a fantastic game. I know the atmosphere was great. So we're going to try to play every minute and every quarter like we're like our hair's on fire. Like we got to get something accomplished. If we don't, we're not going to make it till tomorrow night, I can guarantee it.
All right, Coach, talk a little bit about what has to happen for your team to be successful tonight.
We got to guard people. We got to limit second shots. I'd like to limit our turnovers, and I like to turn them over a little bit. I know that sounds easy, but not. They got some good guards now, and they've been handling pressure much better. So we got to get out in transition and get some easy baskets and not give them any easy ones in transition as well.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Coach Presley, as we're about 3 minutes and change away from getting our boys varsity semifinal between Gaston and Hokes Bluff, the 3-seed and 2-seed respectively, as one of these two teams will continue their journey here in the Etowah County Tournament to Championship Friday tomorrow, where the winner of this game will play for the championship tomorrow. We'll take this time out and we'll set things up for tip-off after this.
I am a dreamer who will make a difference in this world.
I am flying to a future of great promise and change.
I am a mentor committed to helping my students transform their lives.
I'm a hard worker striving to build a better Alabama.
I am a go-getter with ambition and drive.
I am a Gadsden State Cardinal.
Watch me.
Watch me.
Watch me fly.
Northeast Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Clinic with Drs. Stewart, Dalton, Ryan, Kelly, Shaw, Metters, Wilson, and Blackstock is pleased to offer 5 locations to serve the Northeast Alabama area. Neo features on-site physical therapy at their South 4th Street Gadsden, Highway 77 Rainbow City, Highway 431 Boaz, and Fort Payne locations. Neo's Football Injury Clinic runs every Saturday morning at 7:30 a.m. through high school football season at Northeast Orthopedics 4th Street location in Gadsden, keeping you in motion at Gadsden, Rainbow City, Boaz, Setter, and Fort Payne across from Walmart.
Pre-game coverage for the boys varsity semifinal, the final semifinal game of the week, as either Hokes, Bluff, or Gaston will face the 4-seed Glencoe tomorrow for the Etowah County Tournament Championship. As we appreciate you for joining us here on FNN, as our coverage all this week brought to you by Northeast Orthopedic Sports Clinic and Physical Therapy. James Hardy and Jim Jacobs with you, as this is the second game of the week for Gaston, and for the 9th-ranked Hokes Bluff squad, this is their very first game of the week. In fact, we're getting to less than a minute to go as far as the countdown clock. As far as getting this game tipped off, we'll have the starters announced to the spectators here inside the gymnasium at Glencoe High School. But a big opportunity for Gaston as far as maybe making their season, especially in this Etowah County tournament. But kind of like we saw in our previous game, Jim, for the Glencoe girls varsity team, an opportunity for Hokes Bluff to really show how well they can play in a tournament setting.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be quite as easy for Hokes Bluff as it was for Glencoe earlier tonight. Coach Merriman's got a decent group of kids here, especially got some guard play. His son, Micah Merriman, is one of the top players in the area, so you're going to see a lot out of him tonight. He's going to have a big game, and, of course, you heard from Coach Presley, they basically got to do what they do.
And we'll talk a lot about Micah throughout the course of the ball game, but Coach Michael Merriman had a lot of very positive things, not only to say about the basketball player, but the person that is Micah Merriman. So the starters about to be introduced as far as to the spectators here at Glencoe High School. And speaking of Glencoe High School, both the boys and the girls varsity teams will be playing right here tomorrow for the championships of the girls varsity and boys varsity, as we take our first look at the roster for the 2022-2023 edition of the Gaston Bulldogs. And obviously, you just talked about, Jim, it begins right with that sophomore, number 12, Micah Merriman.
Yeah, he's going to have to be really solid. Brock Bagley being introduced to the crowd here as one of the starters.
Brock Bagley, you have a couple of Bagleys that you see there, Brock and Will Bagley, as you'll have Brock Bagley along with Devin Green and Micah Merriman that will see introduced to the spectators here, along with Adonis Jones. And one more starter to come up for the Gaston Bulldogs is, of course, Michael Merriman, the head coach for the Gaston Bulldogs, coaching at his alma mater, as Gaston will have Brock Bagley, Will Bagley, along with Devin Green, Adonis Jones, and Micah Merriman as their starting 5. So they'll be in the kind of chili pepper red tops and bottoms as the designated visiting team, and the home team in Hokes Bluff, the Eagles, not too far of a drive away from here, pretty much a hop, skip, and a jump to the east.
If you know the best ways to go, it's a rock's throw.
Pretty much.
They're back roads, but they're quick. It'll get you there in a hurry.
Hey, you're talking to someone that loves me finding out the back roads in the area. So we'll see whether this Hokes Bluff squad can play their way into the Etowah County Tournament Championship for tomorrow, as you'll have the starters just getting introduced to the Glencoe the fans in attendance here at Glencoe High School.
Yeah, stands have kind of filled in nicely. Good crowd standing along the walls. Not quite as big as last night, but still for a Thursday night, not a bad bunch.
It'll be Landon Davenport, Anderson Morgan, John Clark Wetzel, Colby Smith, and Jordan Presley, the starting 5 for the Hokes Bluff Eagles. Hokes Bluff in the white tops and the bottoms, and the chili red pepper tops and bottoms for Gaston, as it'll be controlling the tip, Hokes Bluff going from our left to right here in the first half. There you see Anderson Morgan with the ball as the turnaround hook shot no good, and the rebound going to number 13, Will Bagley for Gaston. Landon Davenport missing that turnaround hook shot, as Gaston will run in their half-court offense. Man-to-man defense as the three-pointer up and off the back rim, no good. Will Bagley missing the three ball, as pushing it ahead and a little too far ahead that time on the outlet pass was Colby Smith.
Yeah, a live ball turnover there for Hokes Bluff, and that won't make Coach Presley very happy.
A little sloppy execution on that outlet pass, as it'll be Gaston ball off the game's first turnover for either team. Gaston with the basketball. Adonis Jones, the sophomore guard, controlling the point. Micah Merriman will hand it off back to Will Bagley. The pass from Merriman goes out of bounds. They'll say off of Gaston. So Gaston's first turnover, as Brock Bagley wasn't able to control the entry pass from Micah Merriman.
Still looking for our first points of the game.
As we've gone just over the 1 minute mark in the ball game. Half court set for Hokes Bluff. As here's the drive and the dump down. As a good double team, as the turnaround shot up and in for Hokes Bluff's Colby Smith.
So Colby Smith puts the first points up on the scoreboards here at Glencoe High School as everybody settles in for what we hope is going to be a pretty good basketball game.
Adonis Jones stumbling but maintaining his balance as he'll have the ball and hands off to Micah Merriman. Merriman guarded man-to-man defense, as that assignment belonging to Anderson Morgan. Here's the three ball up and no good for Merriman. Rebound knocked around, and Will Bagley for Gaston controls as he'll tightrope the sideline and no, steps out of bounds. Turnover number 2 for Gaston. Gaston located in the northeast outskirts of the city of Gadsden, kind of on that way to Cherokee County in center Alabama. Hokes Bluff with the basketball, as it'll be Davenport driving and missing the layup. Good defense that time on the interior by Gaston. Is behind the defense. Jones gets the layup to fall.
Gaston pressing it up the floor.
Adonis Jones with the first points of the night for Gaston. So the Bulldogs tie it up as we played about 2.5 minutes, as driving to the paint, and a nice defensive effort by Devon Green to block the layup attempt by Jordan Presley, the senior. Hokes Bluff with 3 seniors getting the start tonight. And looking on the flip side, just a couple of seniors. In fact, both of them belonging to the Bagley family for Gaston. Approaching 5 minutes left in the opening quarter. Here's a little chicken wing and a push-off on the offensive foul for Colby Smith. Smith driving the paint that time, Jim, and just kind of stuck that arm out there to try and gain some leverage, and the officials saw that.
Hokes Bluff jumping in man-to-man, full court pressure. It's kind of token. They'll back out of it.
So across the timeline will be Will Bagley, the senior, 6'5", 200 pounds for Gaston. Adonis Jones will now survey the man-to-man defense for Hokes Bluff. Under 5 minutes to go in the opening quarter as Riverside Fine Jewelers presents our first quarter coverage. Still tied up at 2, as here's the pull-up and good for 2 for Micah Merriman. Smooth jumper that time as Merriman pulls up from the right elbow and sinks the jumper to give Gaston their first lead of the night. Still early, however, as we're coming on the halfway point of the first quarter.
Coach Merriman told me in the hospitality room earlier tonight that he felt like his kids figured out that they could play with this Hokes Bluff bunch in their last meeting, even though they lost.
Here's the drive for Will Bagley. That's good for 2 on the transition. So Hokes Bluff misses on one end, and then Gaston takes advantage on the other end. Colby Smith will dribble the ball for Hokes Bluff. And now it'll be Jordan Presley handling the basketballs. He'll try and drive. Good, solid defense by Gaston here in the first quarter. Colby Smith clears out traffic, and now will go into the paint, loses the basketball, but finds some help, and the three no good, as it'll be Wetzel missing the three, and the ball goes out of bounds over to Gaston. So a 6-2 advantage as Gaston has scored 6 in a row after Hokes Bluff's Colby Smith got the first 2 points in the game early on. The Bulldogs bring it across the timeline. Will Bagley calling for help, and he'll get stripped of the ball. A fight for it as it'll stay with Gaston. It'll be shot up and good, and the foul for Devon Green.
Hooping to harm.
So an 8-0 run for Gaston, as it'll be the foul on Hokes Bluff, their second team foul, as it'll be the first personal foul on Anderson Morgan. So a chance for the three-point play coming up for Devon Green. 6'5", 210 pounds, the forward, a junior. Free throw, good. As it makes it now a 9-2 advantage for Gaston, playing well early. In fact, playing very well defensively and giving Hokes Bluff a hard time as far as when they try and attack the paint. Presley, he'll accelerate, he gets free, and he lays it in for 2. Jordan Presley stops a 9-0 run that time from Gaston, as the Bulldogs still have a 5-point lead. Here's Micah Merriman. He'll back out and recycle the offense. A good flow to the game so far as Merriman stops. Good defense, but almost better offense that time as Merriman did everything but make the basket that time.
Man, that ball hung on the rim, didn't it?
Here's Presley running over Merriman, a blocking foul on the floor. And you're right, Jim, that was an outstanding one-on-one effort by Merriman, as he did do everything but make the turnaround shot.
Yeah, and then he kind of committed the defensive no-no.
So Micah Merriman, his first personal foul, and the first team foul of the ball game for Gaston. 2:20 left in the opening quarter. Riverside Fine Jewelers brings you our first quarter coverage as the pull-up no good. Tough shot that time for Jordan Presley, as on the run out Gaston, as the floater offensive foul as Jacody Bogle in the ball game tried to go up for the layup, and good job by Hokes Bluff of getting back in transition and drawing the offensive foul. So Bogle his first, as we'll have a substitution coming in for Hokes Bluff as Anderson Morgan, or check that, Landon Davenport rather, will get his first breather for Hokes Bluff. Ashton Moody into the ball game, has the basketball. Under 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter. At the far side, Logan Carr into the ball game as the ball knocked out of bounds by Gaston. So a couple of substitutions for the Hokes Bluff Eagles. Has got a nice rhythm to the ball game so far. And Gaston off to a solid start, especially on the defensive end of the floor, as Presley drives, pump fakes, gets free, and he'll go to the line for 2 as Will Bagley commits the foul.
Yeah, got a nice little shot fake there by Presley. Got Bagley up in the air, then went hard to the rim. Didn't get the bucket, but he'll go to the line to shoot a couple.
So there you see Jordan Presley, the senior guard, as his first free throw is up and good. So Presley with the last 3 points in the ball game for Hokes Bluff. Some of the keys that Jason Presley told me during the week, he wants to see his team continue to defend and rebound as they've done for most of the season. but he wants to see some consistent ball handling from his team. Presley hits both free throws, so he has 4 of the 6 points so far tonight for Hokes Bluff. And we'll have a foul before the pass on the kind of secondary fast break for Gaston, so the foul on Hokes Bluff. So 3 team fouls for both teams as they'll call the foul on Ashton Moody, his first. Less than 90 seconds left in the opening quarter as a careless pass goes out of bounds off of Gaston. Turnover for the Bulldogs. So we'll have a substitution check in for the Eagles, as it'll be Carr checking out and Colby Smith back in. 3-point advantage for Gaston as they have led for most of the first quarter. Check that Logan Carr remains in the ball game as Colby Smith with the basketball, and before putting the ball on the floor, Carr travels with the basketball. Turnover for Hokes Bluff.
Boy, and I tell you, if you're Coach Presley, you just hate to see those kind of live ball turnovers.
Anderson Morgan checks back in for Hokes Bluff. 1 minute to go here in the opening quarter. As driving Merriman, he'll stop and shoot and bank it off the glass for 2. Micah Merriman with his second field goal.
Confidence with the basketball.
As the lead extends to 5 for Gaston. Here's the drive for Presley. Shoots and scores on the layup. Presley with a game-high 6 points. As we come to the final 30 seconds of the first quarter, a solid back-and-forth game so far between these two teams. As Gaston doing, for the most part, a solid job defensively. As we're down to close to 15 seconds left in the opening quarter. And we'll have a touch foul around the timeline for Anderson Morgan. And for Morgan, that will be his second personal foul. That'll be team foul number 4 for Hokes Bluff. So substitutions, as you'll have Adonis Jones checking back in. Also, Layden Slayton for Gaston, his first time in the game for the Bulldogs. Just under 12 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Here comes Jones as he'll stop. Shoots from just beyond the free throw line. No, as a push on the rebound on Devon Green. So that'll be his first personal foul. And that'll also be team foul number 4 for Gaston. Back in will be Landon Davenport for Hokes Bluff. Out is Ashton Moody. Here's the inbounds pass as the 3 ball for Smith up and no good as we're through 1 quarter of play here at the gymnasium at Glencoe High School. Riverside Fine Jewelers presents our first quarter as Gaston off to a good start, up by 3 here on FNN.
Gotta have a ring first. Remember, she has to say yes to the ring before she says yes to the dress. Riverside just makes it better.
Griffin Laser Engraving in Lincoln is your authorized local dealer for personalized Yeti products. Get your Yeti customized for your team, a business, or a special event. Your color, graphics, even photos. At Griffin Laser Engraving, we make it the way you want it. Order just 1 or hundreds, and you'll find a full line of Yeti coolers and accessories on hand, even the hard-to-find items. Nationally recognized, but right here at home in Lincoln for quality awards, trophies, powder coating, and personalized Yeti items, Griffin Laser Engraving.
Second quarter about to get underway as Hokes Bluff, the number 2 seed in the Etowah County tournament and number 9 team in the state this week, trails Gaston 11-8. Still early as a near over and back on the inbounds pass for Gaston, as they'll have the basketball to begin the second quarter. Here's Merriman. Nice ball handling as he'll pull up and miss the jumper as the rebound goes to Hokes Bluff. Ashton Moody on the rebound as Jordan Presley stops, pops, and misses the three as the rebound goes to Colby Smith for Hokes Bluff. A second opportunity for the Eagles as the three ball no good for Ashton Moody as the rebound goes to Hokes Bluff as here's an easy layup that pops out, no good for the Eagles. Dayton Shrimpshire misses the layup that time as Merrimer misses on the runner as he thought he was fouled. Jordan Presley the other way for Hokes Bluff as he'll turn, get in the paint, stops and floats up a wild one, no, and we'll have a whistle and looks as if a foul goes on Hokes Bluff on the rebound.
Yeah, bodies everywhere.
So that'll be the 5th team foul for Hokes Bluff. And they'll whistle the first personal foul on Landon Davenport.
Last couple of possessions kind of wild for both teams.
So Gaston with the basketball as they have led for almost the entire ball game. Will Bagley controlling the point.
Yeah, I think I said it to you during the break. Hokes Bluff looks like a team that hasn't played in 5 days.
Here's Adonis Jones passing to Merriman. He'll drive, dumps it down to Brock Bagley for his first field goal. Excellent offensive set that time by Gaston as Hokes Bluff wants to push the tempo. As good passing for Presley, who misses the three rather, as the rebound goes to Micah Merriman. Merriman stops. He'll try the three. He misses as the rebound goes to Jordan Presley. Have a couple of coaches' sons out on the floor for both these teams as a traveling violation as a little bit out of control that time was Hokes Bluff's. Looks like Shrimpshire, or check that, Landon Davenport on the traveling violation.
That's got to be at least 5 live ball turnovers.
So a couple already, I believe, in this quarter for Hokes Bluff as Micah Merriman will stroll across the timeline. Going against the man-to-man defense by Landon Davenport. Merriman backs his man down and doesn't get the shot to fall, but he'll have a trip to the line for two. So that'll be the 6th team foul on Hokes Bluff, and that'll be the 2nd personal foul for Ashton Moody.
Well, it's pretty obvious. Whatever scoring is going to come for Gaston is going to come off of Micah Merriman.
Merriman hits the first of 2. So he has 5 of the 14 points for Gaston. A solid point guard as the free throw also good. So 2 of 2 from the line for Micah Merriman.
And I think he's a 10th grader. Our graphic there was not correct.
Well, he'll have, that's even better news then for Gaston.
I think he's a 10th grader.
So looking over the defense is Smith as Presley drives, shoots, and misses as the rebound going to Gaston. As behind the defense, here's Will Bagley as he lays it in for 2. And as you mentioned, Jim, an outstanding look. Good court vision that time by Micah Merriman as we have a timeout for Hokes Bluff.
Hokes Bluff takes the timeout presented by the city of Hokes Bluff. As we are in the middle of our second quarter, it's a full timeout. Or is it? I think it's a 30. So we'll stay right here. The city of Hokes Bluff reminding you when it rains, it drains. In other words, let's keep that water clean. You can find out more by visiting the Hokes Bluff website. And Mayor Scott Reeves will join us from the city of Hokes Bluff here at the halftime break to talk a little bit about what's going on right up the road.
Always good to hear from our elected leaders as far as the communities around our area. Will Bagley on that last layup has 4 points. Leading the way for Gaston in scoring is Micah Merriman with 6, as Jordan Presley for Hokes Bluff also tied for the, as far as individual scoring high with 6 points for Hokes Bluff. Hokes Bluff needing to get things going, however, as the largest lead of the night for Gaston is here's the 3 ball good from the far wing for Landon Davenport. So Davenport with
been a pretty long scoring drought there for Hokes Bluff, James.
Hokes Bluff's first 3-point basket of the night. In fact, as we go under the 5-minute mark. Here's Merriman, turns and thought he might have gotten fouled that time, but good defense by Davenport as he knocks it out of bounds. 4 minutes, 53 seconds left in the first half. It's been Gaston leading for almost the entire first half. As here's a turnaround try for Green that's blocked by a couple of defenders as Jordan Presley has the basketball. Hokes Bluff trying to cut into the lead as Colby Smith jump stops. No whistle. So play continues as the missed shot by Smith and Gaston wants to run. Merriman lost the basketball there. No harm, no foul that time, though, for the Bulldogs. They'll settle into the half court, will Gaston. Here's Merriman. Tight man-to-man defense for Hokes Bluff. As Will Bagley will drive, accelerates, and runs over a defender, and an offensive foul for Gaston.
Good defense that time for Hokes Bluff. Moved his feet, got set, and got run over.
I think that was Jordan Presley that drew the charge on Will Bagley, his second personal for Bagley. And so that'll be team foul number 5 for Gaston. We'll approach the 4-minute mark left in a fairly swiftly played first half. Almost a backcourt violation there for Hokes Bluff. No harm done, though, as we'll have 2 free throws coming up on a solid drive to the basket for Jordan Presley. So we'll see who they will whistle team foul number 6 on for Gaston, and it'll be the first for Brock Bagley. There you see Jordan Presley as he'll make his way to the free throw line. He's already hit a couple of free throws earlier in the game. Tied for a game-high 6 points along with Gaston's Micah Merriman. Free throw up and good for Jordan Presley. Always like to see the players, Jim, that have that lefty stroke because you know the left-handed players on offense usually have a pretty smooth stroke.
Usually do.
Jordan Presley with 7 points. And now make it 8 as he swishes the second of 2 free throws. Top scorer on the team is Jason Presley for Hokes Bluff, as quickly the other way. Gaston beats the defense down the floor as Bogle makes the layup.
That's the 3rd time tonight they've done that. After Hokes Bluff has scored points.
Here's Presley.
Bang.
Knocking down the 3 ball.
Hello.
First player in double figures for either team is Merriman down the other way, and we will have a foul on the floor for Hokes Bluff. 3.5 minutes left in the opening half. Let's see who they called the foul on. So they'll call that on Mason Miller in the ball game, his first personal foul. And the 7th team foul for Hokes Bluff. 1-and-1 time for Micah Merriman. Free throw good. Micah Merriman, pretty much the top player for Gaston this season that teams, according to Michael Merriman, really focus their scouting report on as far as their game plan. Both free throws good for Micah Merriman, so he has 8. 21-16, as Gaston has led since about the first couple of minutes of the first quarter. Here's the drive. As an open look near corner 3 ball off the top of the backboard and out of bounds for Mason Miller. Michael Merriman, as far as his scouting report on Hokes Bluff, a well-coached team. And, of course, when you talk about both of these head coaches, a lot of familiarity, Jim, between these two.
Absolutely. In fact, I think Coach Presley coached Merriman in high school.
A little more than 3 minutes left in the opening half, as there you see Micah Merriman yo-yoing the basketball. As he'll drive and try and create some offense, as he'll post up, finds an open teammate in Brock Bagley. The Rainmaker is good.
Man.
First triple for Gaston belongs to Brock Bagley as he has 5. And Gaston up by 8. A well-played game for the Bulldogs so far as Landon Davenport double-teamed, shoots and scores underneath the basket. Landon Davenport with 5. Here's Micah Merriman. He'll pop for 3 and gets it to go.
Man, he's got so much confidence with the basketball.
Micah Merriman up to a dozen. Approaching the 2-minute mark left in the first half. Here's the drive for Presley as he'll lay it up and in for two. Got a good flow going for these two teams up and down the floor. As Presley now up to 13 points.
Couple of minutes left in the first half. Quarter presented by McMichael Waste Services here in Gadsden.
Here's Merriman on the drive, shoots and scores.
The coach's sons are taking over.
An offensive exhibition for these two coaches' sons as Presley comes back and lays it in for two. More of the driving bank shot have you for Jordan Presley. Full court pressure for Hokes Bluff as it's a 7-point advantage for the Bulldogs as the runner no good. Here's a second try up and good on the floater for Devin Green. Green with 5 as we'll have, looks like an injury timeout to check on Devin Green. Coming up a little gimpy as he'll have to hobble up to the bench.
I think he came down on his ankle, kind of funny.
So they'll take a look at Devin Green as he'll check out. And it'll be Kobe Harris for Gaston taking his place.
Gaston's played really well. I don't know if they can play any better. Hokes Bluff definitely can.
Gaston up 9 as you have Anderson Morgan picking up the dribble. Here's a low post pass to Smith. Pump fakes, shoots, and scores. Both of these defenses now having some issues as far as stopping pretty much any sort of offense for these two teams. Jones turns, shoots the fadeaway, and nearly gets the bank shot to go, but the rebounding foul goes on Gaston as good position by Colby Smith on the rebound. Looks as if that the foul will go on number 32, Jacody Bogle. That is his second personal foul, and so with both teams in the bonus, we're going to have free throws, a 1-and-1 for Colby Smith.
So there's a good look at the senior.
So while we look at Colby Smith, we'll have a substitution as Bogle with 2 fouls exits. Colby Smith with 4 and stays that way as he misses the front end of a 1-and-1. 1 and done for Hokes Bluff as Gaston with the basketball up 7 as we are approaching 30 seconds remaining in the opening half. Second quarter presented by McMichael Waste.
Looks like Micah Merriman and company are going to play for the last shot here.
Merriman will avoid the 5-second count as we approach 15 seconds left in the first half. Merriman at the half-court stripe. Clock under 10. Here's Merriman, turns. He'll shoot the floater and bank it home.
Holy cow.
Micah Merriman with 16 as we come to halftime. Gaston with their largest lead of the night, up 9, 33-24. As Merriman leads all scorers with 16, and Jordan Presley for Hokes Bluff right behind him with 15. We'll take this timeout, and we'll begin our halftime coverage presented by Gadsden State Community College after this.
At Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, we see our community as extended family.
Hello, I'm Mark Box. My wife Holly and I would like to thank the families that we have had the honor to serve. We see our community as our extended family. That's why we work so hard to invest in our community and the families that call it home. At Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, you'll find services that are tailored to meet your needs, whatever those may be.
Piedmont Cutoff Highway in Glencoe and Highway 431 in Anniston. Our family serving your family.
Northeast Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Clinic with Drs. Stewart, Dalphin, Ryan, Kelly, Shaw, Metters, Wilson, and Blackstock is pleased to offer 5 locations to serve the Northeast Alabama area. NEO features on-site physical therapy at their South 4th Street Gadsden, Highway 77 Rainbow City, Highway 431 Boaz, and Fort Payne locations. NEO's Football Injury Clinic runs every Saturday morning at 7:30 a.m. through high school football season at Northeast Orthopedics 4th Street location.
She says yes to the dress. Riverside just makes it better.
And welcome back. Halftime presented by Gadsden State Community College here at Glencoe High School as the Etowah County boys semifinal number 2 takes the mid-game break with Gaston on top of Hokes Bluff, and joined now here at the announce table by the mayor of the city of Hokes Bluff. And better than calling him mayor, we're just going to call him friend because, gosh, we've known him forever, Scott Reeves. Scott, good to see you.
Good to be with y'all, Jim. Good to be here.
Well, what's happening up in Hokes Bluff?
Well, things are rocking on pretty good. Our city's moving along. Our people, I got to give a credit to our people and citizens of Hokes Bluff. They, if you don't shop in Hokes Bluff, then you don't see progression, and our citizens really do a good job of supporting our local businesses in Hokes Bluff. And we've got a few things going on, some updates at our parks and ball facilities, and things are going good. Things are going good.
Every time I turn around, I see you paving a street somewhere.
We have. We've been very fortunate. The last 6 or so years, we've paved about 15 streets, and it's been good for Hokes Bluff. Hey, and that's what happens when you shop local and spend your tax dollars in your hometown. You can do things like that.
You know, Scott, and people just don't think about that enough, I don't think. In our world of, everything's on this iPad and telephone, computer, and all that kind of stuff. That stuff doesn't put a nickel in the city coffers.
No, it does not. And your local small town businesses are the ones that are on the Little League shirts and jerseys,
yep,
and youth football sponsors and things of that nature, and your high school team sponsors and all. So it does mean a lot for you to be able to support your local business, your local hometown businesses.
You guys have a lot of annual events in the city, a lot of stuff happening throughout the year. What's up next?
Come April, we'll be having I believe it's the 8th or 9th annual triathlon. It benefits our Hokes Bluff Library Foundation. And it'll be coming up in April. And we kind of course, springtime youth baseball gets kicked off, and soccer and whatnot. But City Fest will be rolling around again this year. And we're already in the works of getting our entertainment lined up. And I can't disclose who that's going to be right now, but everybody will be elated to who we're going to have for our City Fest this year in September on the 23rd.
You guys always just roll out the red rug for that deal.
Yeah, we do. We had Lori Morgan last year, first female headliner we've had since we've been doing City Fest, and it was a big show, and she enjoyed herself and did a good job. I believe she sang better this year, Jim, than I've ever heard her sing before.
Well, talk a little bit about what's happening with the schools in the community. Obviously they're county schools, but there's so much local support in Hokes Bluff for the schools, and especially the athletic programs that go on after school.
Yeah, let me start off with this. We're getting a brand new elementary school there in Hokes Bluff, about a $14 million project. The Board of Education is building us a new school. We're all excited about that, and it's been a long time coming. I believe our building was about a 1941, 42. So it's been well overdue, and we're glad of that. And you're talking about our local athletics and our high school sports in Hokes Bluff. We get tremendous support from our city. They do a lot for our school here in Hokes Bluff, and I can't brag enough about our council and our folks at City Hall. They're always willing to reach out and help where we can, and it's just, like I said, local businesses always willing to dig in their pockets and help support our schools and athletics, and it's just really a great community to serve, Jim.
You guys always have a great baseball program. How's the team look this year?
Very young. Everybody is back. We graduated 2 seniors from last year, and, the meat of our roster is back again, and I think Coach Ball's ready to get started, and it should be a good year. We went to the first round of the playoff last year, and those young boys got a little taste of that in their gut, so expecting some big things out of baseball this year.
And, of course, we can't let you go without talking about Coach Rob.
Coach Rob, he's a phenomenal guy. You know, he does great for our school and our community and our kids, and been really a good role model for our kids. And you know, a lot of times you hear coaches really talk about it ain't about the wins and the losses. It's about teaching young men how to be successful in life and be successful in the classroom. And he's all about that. And, you know, he's got about 41 years of service, you know, in education. And, you know, he got inducted, just recently inducted to the Alabama High School Athletic Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So we'll be going down there in March for that get-together and ceremony, and we're proud of Coach Rob and what he means to Hokes Bluff.
Well, we know a lot of them in this part of the state, and none of them are more our favorite than Coach Rob.
Yeah, he's done an excellent job.
I mean, he's a special guy, no question about it.
He is. Hey, before we get off the air, I'll tell you one thing about me you may not know. Since we last talked, me and my lovely wife have 2 grandchildren that are twins. So we got a couple of softball players, maybe cheerleaders, volleyball, or whatever. Be future Hokes Bluff girls, we hope.
The one thing I can count on, Scott, is there'll be a lot of green around your house.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Man, it's so good to see you.
Good to see you, Jim. And hey, we appreciate what y'all do for local athletics. I know y'all do a lot in Calhoun and Etowah County and surrounding counties, and we can't thank you enough, Jim. I know probably not many people tell you don't hear it much, but we sure appreciate y'all.
Man, we appreciate it. Thanks. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good evening.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more from Glencoe High School. The boys semifinal number 2 happening right here at Glencoe High School. And right now, Gaston is on top after the first half. 33-24 the score. The Bulldogs lead by 9 over the Eagles. We'll be right back here on FNN.
I am a dreamer who will make a difference in this world.
I am flying to a future of great promise and change.
I am a mentor committed to helping my students transform their lives.
I'm a hard worker striving to build a better Alabama.
I am a go-getter with ambition and drive.
I am a Gadsden State Cardinal.
Watch me.
Watch me.
Watch me fly.
Moments away from beginning the second half as Hokes Bluff trails Gaston 33-24. As it's been Gaston with the lead, Jim, for practically all of this of the first half.
Yeah, and the question now is, can Hokes Bluff answer the bell? I thought they played a lot better the last 2 or 3 minutes of the second quarter, James. Let's see what they can do here at the first 4 minutes of the second half.
Jordan Presley will take it to the basket and miss the layup as the loose ball goes to Micah Merriman. Jordan Presley led Hokes Bluff with 15 of their 24 points. And for Gaston, Micah Merriman led all scorers with 16. Here's off a curl, Jones shoots and misses the layup. That's outstanding defense underneath the basket on the part of number 13, John Clark Wetzel for Hokes Bluff. Colby Smith misses the layup and a cheap foul for Anderson Morgan as he'll commit a reach-in foul about 10 feet from the half-court stripe and pick up his 3rd personal foul.
Got a feeling you're going to see Coach Presley ask his kids to pick the pace up a little bit here as we get this second half underway.
And we'll see what Gaston can do as far as whether they can sustain, especially the type of offense that they had in the first half. Here's Merriman for 3, no. And the rebound going, a long rebound to Hokes Bluff. So the Eagles will slow it down as Anderson Morgan brings it up the floor after rebounding the ball as he'll go through the lane and makes the layup. Anderson Morgan, his first points of the night. Still a solid 7-point cushion, however, for Gaston. Gaston trying to pull off the upset and trying to advance their way into Championship Friday as Merriman misses the layup as the putback good on the offensive rebound for Devin Green.
Yeah, Green doing a good job getting in there, hustling for that offensive glass. Got the putback.
Green, the sophomore, with 7. As here's the drive from Morgan as he'll miss the layup as Will Bagley gets the rebound stripped out of bounds by Colby Smith. A little frustration as far as the Hokes Bluff sideline. Missed layup that time, and now Gaston has an opportunity to extend the lead to double digits.
Alabama Teachers Credit Union presenting quarter number 3 here in our final semifinal of the night from the Etowah County Tournament.
Adonis Jones will check over the defense as Micah Merriman will help initiate some half-court offense for Gaston. Here's off the screen, Merriman for the 3. No, that's an air ball. As the rebound goes to Jordan Presley.
Might have got a piece of that one.
Here's Presley on the drive. He loses it. Still in bounds as Hokes Bluff gets a wide open 3 look. No, as the rebound going to Brock Bagley. Landon Davenport had a wide open look at the 3 as Micah Merriman lays it up, and he'll have 2 free throws after the Hokes Bluff foul. So it'll be the second team foul of this third quarter and the second personal foul for Hokes Bluff's Landon Davenport.
Other than Merriman or other than Presley, the long ball for Hokes Bluff just hasn't fallen tonight.
First to 2 good for Micah Merriman. That has been an issue that Coach Jason Presley has cited, Jim, as far as more than one score not being on point consistently throughout the season. When one's been on, another's been off. Second free throw also good for Micah Merriman. So he's up to a game-high 18 points.
And Gaston playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Anderson Morgan, he'll drive. He'll stop. They'll work it around as Presley thought about an NBA 3. Dribbles. Wants to drive, but good defense by Will Bagley. As left to pass it off to John Clark Wetzel. Here's at the elbow, Colby Smith has to pass it out to Morgan. The 3 ball, no good. And the rebound for Gaston.
Yeah, that one didn't even have a chance.
So the rebound to Will Bagley. As here's Merriman, turns, shoots, and doesn't get the roll. Tipped up rebound that time for Landon Davenport for Hokes Bluff. Davenport to Smith as he'll get into the paint and lays it in for 2.
And that's going to bring us to a timeout by Hokes Bluff.
Colby Smith now with 6 points, full timeout, and we'll take it with them as the city of Hokes Bluff presents all of our timeouts as we'll take the break here on FNN.
At Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, we see our community as extended family.
Hello, I'm Mark Box. My wife Holly and I would like to thank the families that we have had the honor to serve. We see our community as our extended family. That's why we work so hard to invest in our community and the families that call it home. At Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, you'll find services that are tailored to meet your needs, whatever those may be.
Piedmont Cutoff Highway in Glencoe and Highway 431 in Anniston. Our family serving your family.
4 minutes, 35 seconds left in the third quarter as the city of Hokes Bluff presents all of our timeouts for tonight's ball game. Gaston leading 37-28 as they have had as much as the 9-point lead that they enjoy right now, and they'll have an opportunity to extend that into double figures as they have control of the basketball. Across the timeline.
In every trip, James, Gaston gets more confidence.
A half-court set for Gaston is looking for Will Bagley off the screen, but Merriman will look over the defense, a man-to-man defense for Hokes Bluff.
I mean, at some point, Hokes Bluff's going to have to do something to rattle these Bulldogs a little bit.
Well, a no-look pass that time for Micah Merriman as Brock Bagley wasn't expecting it, and it goes out of bounds.
And that'll get Dad off the bench over there.
So all across the timeline, Ashton Moody in the game at point guard as Presley wants to try the 3 and misses as the rebound goes to Will Bagley.
Yeah, long ball's just not falling tonight for Hokes Bluff.
Here's Brock Bagley for the 3.
Goodness gracious.
Bagley with 7. Here's the skip pass for Davenport as he misses the 3. A quick trigger that time. A good look, though, as the ball stays with Hokes Bluff. 3 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the third quarter. A 12-point lead, their largest for Gaston, as Hokes Bluff on the ropes. Here's the turnaround, no for Wetzel. I don't think that's the shot that Coach Jason Presley wanted for Hokes Bluff. Here's Micah Merriman. He'll back it out and settle things down and use a little bit of this third quarter clock. Now Merriman gets in the paint. He'll scoop it up and score.
They just run clear outs for him, and he handles the ball so well with so much confidence. And here's Hokes Bluff missing a bunny on the other end.
And the rebound going to Gaston, as in the ball game, Kobe Harris with the rebound as the mid-range shot good for Micah Merriman.
And he is on fire.
22 points for Micah Merriman, as Gaston trying to pull away up 16 as we're at 2:40 left in the third quarter. Here's Davenport to Wetzel. As Hokes Bluff a little shaky right now as they've misfired on their last 3 possessions. As Presley with the basketball. They'll back it out and try and go one-on-one as he'll drive and kicking it out to Smith on the return pass to Presley as he'll shoot and go to the line for 2 shots. So we'll find out who the foul's on as far as the second team foul for Gaston, and it'll be the foul on Will Bagley, his 3rd personal foul.
Jordan Presley to the line.
Couple free throws up and good. Jordan Presley scoring his first point here in the third quarter as he has 16 for the game. So you'll have Will Bagley and Kobe Harris check out for Gaston. Adonis Jones back in as the free throw no good off the front rim for Presley. Pass deflected up ahead from Micah Merriman as it goes off of Ashton Moody out of bounds at the scorer's table.
But once again, Gaston pushing it on a missed free throw, but an opportunity to get it up the floor before Hokes Bluff can get back and get defensively set.
Right at 2 minutes left in the third quarter. As Merriman will just yo-yo the basketball at the Glencoe logo at the half-court stripe.
And see how they're just clearing it out for him? I mean, there's nothing in the paint right there.
Here's Merriman as he'll accelerate to the basket, turns, fights through 2 defenders, and a late whistle as it goes out of bounds off of Hokes Bluff.
Got some backside help that time, did Hokes Bluff on Merriman.
Here's the pass kicked off of Hokes Bluff, and it's a turnover. Presley on the fast break. He'll stop and pop in, miss from about 12 as the rebound goes out of bounds and stays with Hokes Bluff. For Michael Merriman, he mentioned as far as one of the strong suits of his team so far this year, how their half-court defense has been. And some of his keys for the game, trying to alleviate the pressure offensively for Micah Merriman as that pass goes out of bounds off of John Clark Wetzel. But also, Coach Michael Merriman for Gaston wanted his defense to do a good job of defending the drive and ball reversals. And so far, they've held a solid offensive team in Hokes Bluff to just 29 points through almost 3 quarters. Here's Merriman.
Dangerously close to 5 seconds here.
As he'll try and drive in. There's your 5-second violation, Jim, on outstanding man-to-man defense, tight man-to-man defense by Ashton Moody.
Yeah, if you're Merriman, you just can't yo-yo that basketball like that. You got to penetrate, and you're going to have some help from your teammates.
Under a minute to go here in the third quarter as Presley goes in and makes the driving shot. Jordan Presley with 18, full court pressure for the Eagles as Micah Merriman will get double teamed. Still in the backcourt, and we will have a timeout called for by Gaston.
Yep, trying to save the possession there. Good TO there by Coach Merriman.
30-second timeout.
Presented by the City of Hokes Bluff, reminding you when it rains, it drains. We will keep it right here as we get near the end of the third quarter. Presented by Alabama Teachers Credit Union.
But we haven't talked about this. I've been wanting to talk about this in my conversation earlier this week with Michael Merriman. He really had a lot of very positive things to say about not only Micah Merriman, the player, but being able to coach his son as far as just how special their relationship is. It wasn't always guaranteed, Coach Merriman told me, as far as just the ability for Micah to play for his dad. But Coach Merriman has been really just so happy with how his son has been able to progress, not just with his on the floor skills, his ball skills as a player, but also just him as a person as far as the intangibles go. Here's Micah Merriman getting free and laying it in for two. Micah Merriman with 24 points as the lead goes up to 15 for Gaston. Will likely be the final possession of this third quarter. As Morgan with the basketball for Hokes Bluff. Presley will stop with three. He'll shoot the three ball, miss, as the rebound goes to Brock Bagley, and we are through 3 quarters of play from Gaston High School as Hokes Bluff 8 minutes away from advancing to Championship Friday here in the Etowah County Tournament on FNN.
Northeast Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Clinic with Drs. Stewart, Dalpit, Ryan, Kelly, Shaw, Metters, Wilson, and Blackstock is pleased to offer 5 locations to serve the Northeast Alabama area. NEO features on-site physical therapy at their South 4th Street Gadsden, Highway 77 Rainbow City, Highway 431 Boaz, and Fort Payne locations. NEO's Football Injury Clinic runs every Saturday morning at 7:30 a.m. through high school football season at Northeast Orthopedics 4th Street location in Gadsden, keeping you in motion at Gadsden, Rainbow City, Boaz, Center, and Fort Payne across from Walmart.
Gotta have a ring first. Remember, she has to say yes to the ring before she says yes to the dress. Riverside just makes it better.
Gaston 8 minutes away from knocking off the 9th-ranked team in Class 3A in the state of Alabama, as the Gaston Bulldogs have a 46-31 lead as we begin the 4th quarter. Micah Merriman in front of us has the basketball against the man-to-man Hokes Bluff defense. Merriman working off a couple of screens and will have a whistle away from the ball, and looks as if a foul will go on Hokes Bluff. For Hokes Bluff, it'll be just their 4th team foul here in the second half. And Jim, nice defense so far really throughout this ball game by Gaston, and they've done an outstanding job tonight of defending without fouling.
Oh, absolutely.
Here's the underneath pass going to Will Bagley as he misses the turnaround, and the over-the-back foul will go on Gaston. So for Gaston, that is just their 2nd team foul.
Boy, how many times do you see that in basketball? You miss it in close, and then you commit the foul.
Or I think they say, yeah, they now just put the foul on the scoreboard here, as it'll go to Will Bagley. Or check that. They'll actually say that Hokes Bluff's John Clark Wetzel commits the foul on the rebound as they get the steal, and we'll have a jump ball, and it'll go over to Hokes Bluff.
That was a scrum if I've ever seen one.
So Hokes Bluff gets the turnover that they need, but they're down 15, and time just about becoming a factor for them. As driving will be Davenport as Colby Smith tied up in a package. Good ball reversal as driving will be Presley as he makes the layup for 2.
Used that left hand and got it up off the glass.
So Presley now with a team-high 20 points. Approaching 7 minutes left in the ball game as Merriman loses the basketball. Here comes a fight for the ball as let's see who comes up with it. It's going to be a jump ball, and it's going to stay with Gaston.
Hokes Bluff kind of sensing the urgency of the moment now.
It's a 13-point advantage for Gaston. As still plenty of time, Jim, so as we've seen a couple of times already in this tournament, just because you have a double-digit lead doesn't mean that you can cruise to the finish line.
Not in the clear just yet.
So they'll inbound off to the left for Gaston against some full-court pressure. Will Bagley trying to protect the basketball as Gaston needs to get it across the timeline before the 10-second count. And they do so as Bagley gets the pass and shoots and misses the turnaround as the rebound goes to Jordan Presley. He'll run on the break, and he gets free on an outstanding little clear-out screen by Mason Miller on the layup.
That's going to get a timeout on the floor. No defensive pressure on Presley at all, as he basically just had a free run to the lane. We have a timeout on the floor presented by the city of Hokes Bluff. We will be back with more in the fourth quarter here from the Etowah County Tournament on FNN.
Timeout on the floor is the timeout taken by Gaston, and the city of Hokes Bluff presents our timeouts for this Etowah County tournament. As this is the final semifinal game of the week. The winner of tonight's ball game will advance to Championship Friday for a 7:30 tip tomorrow against the 4-seed Glencoe.
And James, we've already seen the number 1 seed ranked team go down. Can number 2 follow them tonight?
We'll find out in 6 minutes and 36 seconds as full court pressure for Hokes Bluff. Here's Merriman in the backcourt. Still needs to get across the timeline and does so, and gets bailed out on a reach-in foul for Hokes Bluff. Team foul number 5 for the Hokes Bluff Eagles. So it'll be basketball to Gaston. It'll be the third personal for Landon Davenport as the 3-ball no for Will Bagley as the loose ball rebound, the long ball rebound goes to Hokes Bluff. Mason Miller on the board as Ashton Moody will hand off to Presley as he gets cut off and now tries to drive again and finds an open Miller as he misses the chippy, but he'll go to the free throw line for 2.
Wow.
Some tight rims on both ends as Mason Miller missed a wide open bunny, but it'll be the third team foul of the second half and the third personal foul going on Jacody Bogle. There's Mason Miller, the senior, as he'll miss the first of 2.
You know, if you're Hokes Bluff, James, you've got about 4.5 minutes that you've got to pull this thing a lot closer than it is right now, or you're going to see Gaston and Merriman put this thing in the deep freeze.
And they get the rebound as Hokes Bluff misses 2 from the line, but
Mason away.
Miller gets the steal.
There's a double dribble.
Miller got the steal, wanted to pass it off to the trailing teammate, but just didn't have good control of the ball.
Nope. And Hokes Bluff pressure starting to cause Gaston some problems now.
So we go under 6 minutes left in this semifinal round game as Will Bagley crosses the timeline. Increased pressure on defense for Hokes Bluff as they have Gaston trapped in the corner and get the turnover. Colby Smith on the steal as he'll drive, finds an open Davenport, jump stops, and he'll have 2 free throws with 5:28 remaining in the game.
As we like to say, business is picking up.
Now, got to make the free throws, however, if you're Hokes Bluff, as Brock Bagley picks up his second personal foul. Free throw good for Landon Davenport as he has a half dozen. Jordan Presley with 22 points. to lead Hokes Bluff in scoring as one of two free throws for Landon Davenport. Micah Merriman trapped in the backcourt. As there's Adonis Jones to help him. Micah Merriman will play a little pitch and catch with Jones. Approaching that 5-minute mark left in the semifinal round game. As our championship coverage begins tomorrow, sometime around 6 o'clock, as we'll have a bumping foul around the time stripe for number 3, Ashton Moody. Will be team foul number 6, as we are under 5 minutes left in the ball game. Ashton Moody, his third. So we'll have re-entering the ball game a little offense to defense substitution as Mason Miller checks back in for Hokes Bluff. And bounce pass in the backcourt to Micah Merriman as he's trapped along the sideline. Gets out of the double team and finds Bogle as he'll have 2 free throws coming up. So free throws for the rest of the ball game now for Gaston. This will be 2 big free throws for Jacody Bogle. So 4 personals now on Ashton Moody. As Bogle's first hits off the front rim, centers and goes. Bogle, his first points of the second half. As we'll have a couple of substitutions check back in for Hokes Bluff. Bogle trying to make it a 12-point lead and does so. So Bogle with 4, 2 big free throws that time for the Bulldogs. As Jordan Presley will try and drive, and he'll get tapped, a little reach-in foul by Micah Merriman. That's his second. And that'll be the team's 4th for Gaston. Ball inbounded off to our left. Anderson Morgan will bounce it over to Davenport as he'll drive, shoots, and misses, gets his own board. He'll turn and gets the roller to go. A little turnaround for Landon Davenport as he has 8 and a quick timeout called for by Hokes Bluff as the city of Hokes Bluff presents all of our timeouts, a full timeout, and we'll take the break with them here on FNN.
I am a dreamer who will make a difference in this world.
I'm flying to a future of great promise and change.
I am a mentor committed to helping my students transform their lives.
I'm a hard worker striving to build a better Alabama.
I am a go-getter with ambition and drive.
I am a Gadsden State Cardinal.
Watch me.
Watch me.
Watch me fly.
Four minutes, 34 seconds left in the final semifinal game of the week here in the Etowah County Tournament. James Hardy, Jim Jacobs, and our FNN crew with you from the gymnasium at Glencoe High School. And there you see Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Cemetery and Crematory providing you our fourth quarter coverage. As Gaston has just about led wire to wire so far tonight. Hokes Bluff took the early lead, got the first basket in the ball game, but that has been their only lead so far tonight. Full court pressure broken for Gaston as Micah Merriman brings it across the timeline. His pass deflected and a loose ball stolen by Hokes Bluff. Presley on the drive as it'll be the kick out pass for 3, up and good. Anderson Morgan on the assist for the Ashton Moody 3. A steal on the full court pressure as here's the layup, good for 2 for Anderson Morgan, and a timeout on the floor.
Hokes Bluff mounting a comeback.
Down by as much as 17 points, I believe, earlier in this second half as we're at 4:07 left in the ball game, Jim, and this is getting to be quite an interesting ball game as the city of Hokes Bluff presents our timeout.
Timeout on the floor. Both teams huddled around their coaches.
Jordan Presley and Micah Merriman leading both teams in scoring as per usual. Merriman leading all scorers with 24 and Presley right behind him with 22 points. The full court pressure defense has certainly helped Hokes Bluff pick up the pace and really get some energy going here in the fourth quarter. And also Landon Davenport having a little bit of scoring as he's now up to 8 points, but really the defense helping get Hokes Bluff right back in this ball game.
Well, the defense by Hokes Bluff has been the difference in the ball game. I mean, offensively they've struggled with the long ball, but defensively they've managed to turn over Gaston enough to get some good looks, and they're right back in this thing.
Hokes Bluff had 31 points through 3 quarters, and they have 12 points so far here in the fourth quarter. There you see Micah Merriman holding the basketball as we go under the 4-minute mark here in regulation. Merriman will drive, gets double teamed, and he'll get fouled on his shot attempt, as on the foul will be Mason Miller, his second. So free throws for the rest of the ball game, as in the bonus is Gaston. So looked as if that was Miller, I thought, on the foul, but instead they'll say Jordan Presley commits his first. So Micah Merriman can add to his point total as his free throw. They'll say a 1-and-1 as the foul was on the floor, but it'll be Merriman having the back end of the 1-and-1 as he hits the first. Micah Merriman with 25. Second free throw also good. So Micah Merriman, one of the hardest workers on the team, according to Coach Michael Merriman, as he has 26, as Colby Smith the other way has to pass it out to Presley for the three. No, as the rebound goes to Bogle, but it gets stripped as Merriman with 2 blocks on the play as the ball goes out of bounds.
Boy, Hokes Bluff with a couple of big offensive opportunities there.
3 minutes, 34 seconds remaining in the ball game. Here's Jordan Presley. So he's trying to add to his 22 points. Anderson Morgan will get the pass and returns it to Presley as he'll have a clear lane to the basket and will have a blocking foul, looks like, on Gaston. So 2 free throws coming up for Hokes Bluff's Jordan Presley. Jordan Presley, the top scorer on the team. Also, his assists have gone up this season from visiting with Coach Jason Presley, a veteran to the varsity basketball team in this area. As Presley makes the first of 2. Jordan Presley, the senior, has played varsity ball since his 8th grade year. A 6-point advantage in favor of Gaston, and a 5-point advantage as Presley, now up to 24, hits both free throws. And we'll have a turnover on the inbounds pass as stepping on the sideline, on the baseline off to our left was Micah Merriman. So now with a made basket, Hokes Bluff can cut the deficit to a 1-possession game. So Jordan Presley will calmly settle things down in the backcourt.
Yeah, you don't have to be in a hurry now if you're Hokes Bluff.
Here's Presley turning, finding Morgan. He'll drive and kicks it out to Davenport. His three is good. Landon Davenport with the triple. He's in double figures with 11. It's now a 2-point game. Micah Merriman with the basketball. Coming down to crunch time for these teams as Merriman on the drive shoots and misses as the rebound fought for, and it's going to be a traveling violation on Hokes Bluff.
Yep, got on the floor and got the ball and rolled with it. That's going to get you that traveling signal every time.
I'm glad we had the monitor to be able to see that, because from up here, that would have been like finding a needle in a haystack trying to look for Jordan Presley rolling around all those bodies with the ball.
He was on the bottom for sure.
Here's Will Bagley on the drive. He'll try and force it up, and he'll have 2 free throws coming up on the foul. It'll be team foul number 9 for Hokes Bluff. And 2 critical free throws coming up for Gaston.
Will Bagley, the junior for Coach Michael Merriman. Boy, all of these free throws are so big now.
Landon Davenport with his 4th foul as the free throw no good.
Hit the back of the rim.
So this is still a big free throw, can extend it to a 3-point lead for Gaston. Will Bagley with just 4 points tonight and stays that way as he misses both, but an offensive rebound, 2 of them as Brock Bagley misses the chippy and the rebound for Hokes Bluff. Both Bagley and Bogle came up with offensive rebounds for Gaston, but couldn't finish off with a second chance opportunity. Here's the extra pass going to Smith. Down underneath the basket, Presley. He'll shoot and score, and Hokes Bluff will have a chance for the lead.
We are knotted up, folks.
Hokes Bluff has trailed by as much as 17 points, and their last lead was 2-0 early in this game, Jim.
Incredible. Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Crematory presenting our 4th quarter. Presley knocks it down, and Hokes Bluff goes out front.
Their first lead since the early moments of the first quarter as a loose ball out of bounds goes off of Colby Smith and Hokes Bluff. So with the 3-point play, Jordan Presley now has the game-high lead in individual scoring with 27. Gaston throws it away on the inbounds pass. Ashton Moody there for the steal, and Hokes Bluff will be content to walk it up the floor.
No reason to be in a hurry now.
Presley with the basketball going against Will Bagley in the man-to-man defense. There's no shot clock in the high school game, so Hokes Bluff can just take their time as we'll have a foul. A little reach-in foul for Will Bagley, his 4th personal foul, and so a 1-and-1 coming up for Hokes Bluff.
And it looks like they were content to run a little clock there, James.
And so I think Gaston may have recognized that and decided they needed to foul to keep this game going.
Yep.
So Presley to the line for a 1-and-1. He's carried the team on his back scoring-wise tonight with 27, about half of his team's 51 points so far. Actually, more than half. Just a little more than half of those. So we'll have the chance to add to the 27-point total. Free throw, good. Had 15 at 16, check that at halftime. Has added now 12 of his 28 points here in the second half. The lefty shooter about to shoot his second and makes both of the 1-and-1 free throws. Approaching 90 seconds left in this semifinal round game of the Etowah County Tournament. So a 3-point advantage, the largest lead of the night for Hokes Bluff. As we'll have a whistle, and we will have, looks like a timeout called for, I think, by Gaston.
Yeah, what had to have been.
So it looks like a full timeout, as our timeouts brought to you by the City of Hokes Bluff, and we'll take the timeout with them here on FNN.
Northeast Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Clinic with Drs. Stewart, Dalpin, Ryan, Kelly, Shaw, Metters, Wilson, and Blackstock is pleased to offer 5 locations to serve the Northeast Alabama area. NEO features on-site physical therapy at their South 4th Street Gadsden, Highway 77 Rainbow City, Highway 431 Boaz, and Fort Payne locations. NEO's Football Injury Clinic runs every Saturday morning at 7:30 a.m. through high school football season at Northeast Orthopedics 4th Street location in Gadsden, keeping you in motion at Gadsden, Rainbow City, Boaz, Center, and Fort Payne across from Walmart.
Our timeout presented by the City of Hokes Bluff. As we're coming down the wire tonight between the 2-seed Hokes Bluff and the 3-seed Gaston, as Hokes Bluff leads 53-50, but Gaston led for the vast majority of tonight's ball game as they led by as much as 17 in the third quarter, but it is Gaston with the basketball as they can tie with a three-point basket. Inbounds pass goes to Brock Bagley, as Adonis Jones will look over the defense against a man-to-man for the Hokes Bluff Eagles. A good job of snagging down that pass for Merriman, as almost throws it away as Kobe Harris with the ball checking in during the timeout. Here's Merriman trying to go one-on-one as he saw a double team momentarily, as Adonis Jones will get cut off on the drive. Here's Merriman open for the three ball. No, as it misses everything and goes out of bounds.
He rushed that one.
They got free just a little bit, had a fairly decent look, but yeah, just couldn't quite get his shoulder set, as we'll have a whistle and a foul for Gaston. Looks as if Brock Bagley will be whistled for the foul, his second. And so free throws coming up on a 1-and-1, as that's the 8th team foul for Gaston. So we're under a minute to go, and so this is a big opportunity for Colby Smith to put this game into a two-possession scenario in favor of Hokes Bluff.
Yep, big trips.
Free throw no good, so still an opportunity for the Bulldogs of Gaston to tie. Merriman with the basketball. As he'll probably see a double team and gets out of it. He'll stop and shoot the three ball and score.
Got it. He wanted that shot, James.
I mean, you could tell, Jim, that Micah Merriman, when he got that ball in the backcourt, was not going to give that ball up, as he ties it up with 31.8 seconds to go, as we'll have a timeout called for by, looks a timeout on the floor. Timeouts presented by the city of Hokes Bluff, as we have one timeout remaining for Hokes Bluff and a couple at the disposal for Gaston.
And, of course, sitting in the wings, the Glencoe Yellow Jackets. They will be in the championship game against one of these two teams. And, James, I predict that we should have a good one regardless.
And also the Glencoe ladies will be waiting in the wings in the green room tomorrow for the girls varsity championship against Sardis. So recapping the scoring, Jordan Presley with a game-high, actually both Micah Merriman and Jordan Presley with a game-high 29 points. Also, Landon Davenport has 11, 7 each for Brock Bagley and Devon Green for Gaston. Be interesting to see, especially what Gaston defensively, what they try and do as far as defending Jordan Presley. You got to imagine will be holding this ball as far as wanting that final shot.
Yep.
So here's Presley as they'll run a little weave action. And Anderson Morgan with the basketball.
You just got to think Presley's going to take the shot.
And Gaston knows that, as outstanding defense by Bogle, as we'll have a whistle and a timeout called for. So that'll be the final timeout used by Hokes Bluff with 8.6 seconds to go. And you know, in these type of situations, late game, last second situations, Jim, that oftentimes it's not the initial shot, but it's the follow-up that can beat you for the defensive team.
No question, and of course you got to be careful. If you're Gaston, you can't foul. You got to play good defense, but you cannot foul.
So 8.6 seconds to go, as you got to figure, especially with inbounding on the sideline right in front of us, that I'm thinking for Coach Jason Presley, he's going to try and engineer some sort of curl in the timeout for the momentum of his star player Jordan Presley to go toward the basket and try and create some contact and get to the free throw line.
Absolutely.
So 8.6 seconds to go as Colby Smith right in front of you will inbound. Floats it inbounds to Jordan Presley. 7 seconds to go.
Gotta hurry.
As Presley across the timeline, down to 2, down to 1, as he'll shoot. It's good if it goes, and we go to overtime.
Wow, our second overtime in as many nights.
I tell you what, that was outstanding defense by Jacody Bogle to really deny Presley a good look at the basket.
We'll be back with the tip for the extra 4 minutes coming up on
Griffin Laser Engraving in Lincoln is your authorized local dealer for personalized Yeti products. Get your Yeti customized for your team, a business, or a special event. Your color, graphics, even photos. At Griffin Laser Engraving, we make it the way you want it. Order just one or hundreds, and you'll find a full line of Yeti coolers and accessories on hand, even the hard-to-find items. Nationally recognized, but right here at home in Lincoln for quality awards, trophies, powder coating, and personalized Yeti items, Griffin Laser Engraving.
bonus basketball.
For the second straight night here on FNN for the Etowah County Basketball Tournament. This is the final semifinal game of the week, presented by Northeast Orthopedic Sports Clinic and Physical Therapy. As it'll be Presley and Bogle jumping center and Hokes Bluff winning the overtime tap. So an immediate double team for the Gaston defense as we begin our second overtime game in as many nights. Here's Presley, nearly losing it. Gets control as he'll throw it away.
Boy, you can't say the two teams that will play tomorrow night didn't earn it.
This is true. And give a lot of credit to Hokes Bluff. They were down 17 in the third quarter, but they were able to use a strong fourth quarter to take a lead and eventually send this game to overtime.
Boy, their defense was just smothering.
Here's Merriman on the drive. He'll stop. He'll shoot the fadeaway. No, that's short, but the rebound to Bogle as it gets stripped by Anderson Morgan. Morgan will back it out to Presley. Here's the drive for Davenport as he'll run over a defender. No whistle. That's a little floater, good for two. Landon Davenport with 13. So the first points of overtime belong to the Hokes Bluff Eagles as Merriman will turn and passes it to Brock Bagley as Adonis Jones will dribble one time. Back to Micah Merriman. Merriman on the drive. He'll stop from the baseline and makes the jumper from 15. Micah Merriman up to 31. 2.5 minutes to go in overtime as we're once again tied up. Here's Presley getting free as he'll make the layup for two.
Yeah, nobody got him. Nobody covered him, and he just drove to the hoop.
Jordan Presley with 31. Micah Merriman trying to answer the score as he'll shoot and have two free throws to try and tie it up.
Little spin move there in the lane by Merriman.
So with both teams in the bonus, this will be a free throw shooting contest as the fifth foul on Ashton Moody as he'll foul out with 3 points on the night.
There you see it on the screen. 2 minutes, 12 seconds left in our first overtime.
So two free throws coming up for Micah Merriman as his first pops out, no good.
Yeah, that was flat. That's normally a sign of being tired.
Yeah, a little fatigue for Micah Merriman, a well-rounded individual as not only an outstanding basketball player, a 4.0 student in the classroom. 1 to 2 free throws for Micah Merriman as he has a game-high 32. It'll be Jordan Presley controlling the basketball as he'll just casually walk it across the timeline.
Hokes Bluff with the lead and the basketball.
Here's Presley making the running layup. That's Jordan Presley with now 33. Under 2 minutes to go as Merriman misses on the three as the rebound goes to Hokes Bluff.
That was a big miss.
A big
miss.
Indeed, as Hokes Bluff can extend this advantage to 2 possessions as Presley skips it over far side. As Morgan thought about the 3 for a moment, but he'll
had an open shot.
But with no shot clock, he'll just back it out and use more clock. Anderson Morgan keeps the dribble alive as he'll drive. And they'll just play a little keep away, will Hokes Bluff.
Gonna have to foul him.
Presley does get fouled indeed by Jacody Bogle, as that is his 4th. And it'll be still a 1-and-1 situation for Hokes Bluff. 9 team fouls for the Gaston Bulldogs.
So the next one puts them in the double bonus.
So this is a big free throw coming up for Hokes Bluff as they can make this a 2-possession lead. There you see Jordan Presley, the senior guard forward combo with 33. As his free throw is good. That's big because that's now a 4-point lead.
Yep.
And it could be a 5-point lead depending on what Presley does here at the free throw line. Second of 2 free throws. Also good. Jordan Presley up to 35 points. Has to be a season high for him. Here's Merriman getting fouled on his shot attempt. And since it's a double bonus anyway, it'll be 2 free throws for Merriman. Just a little over 1 minute to go. 4 ticks more than 1 minute to go. So they'll call that foul on John Clark Wetzel, his 2nd. Free throw good for Micah Merriman, as he has 33. So Merriman and Presley have been going back and forth in the scoring department. As Merriman sinks both free throws. Micah Merriman averaging 20 points per game coming into tonight. Well over that.
Timeout on the floor. We'll take it with them. We'll be right back for the finish here on FNN.
Approaching the 1 minute mark left in overtime as the city of Hokes Bluff presents our timeout. As looking at the timeout situation, both teams with 1 timeout remaining here in overtime. Full court pressure for Gaston. It'll be Landon Davenport inbounding and gets it into Colby Smith as he'll get fouled from behind.
And as I said to you during the break, if you're Gaston, about all you can do is foul and hope they miss some free throws.
Now, Colby Smith's not necessarily the best free throw shooter on the roster for Coach Jason Presley, but this is a critical 2 free throw situation as now both teams are in the double bonus. Colby Smith for the first of 2, and no trouble with that. No trouble whatsoever as he's up to 7.
Nothing but net.
1:03 to go. Second free throw also good. Colby Smith with 8 as we go under the 1 minute mark. Micah Merriman drives, turns, and will miss the layup as he'll get his own rebound and gets fouled along the sideline. 52 seconds remaining in the ball game as 2 free throws coming up after the foul from Hokes Bluff.
Tell you what, Gaston may not win this game, but that young man right there has played a hell of a basketball game.
Oh, without question. Once again, one of the descriptors as far as for his dad, Coach Michael Merriman, a hard worker, one of the hardest workers on the team for Micah Merriman as he makes the first of 2. Micah Merriman with 35. Second free throw up, and it pops out no good. And the fight for the rebound goes to Hokes Bluff. Presley with the basketball in the backcourt. still in the backcourt as they have to get it across the timeline.
Got to foul him.
And we'll have a foul right before a possible 10-second count, as it'll be 2 free throws coming up for Jordan Presley. So Jordan Presley trying to at least get himself back into the game-high lead, as he and Micah Merriman have 35. So the foul on Adonis Jones, his first. First of 2. Good. Jordan Presley with 36 can make it a 6-point advantage.
Well, the fat lady's not singing, James, but she's sure warming up.
Jordan Presley with 2 free throws has 37. 35 seconds to go. As here's Adonis Jones airmailing the 3. As the loose ball rebound goes to Gaston, as they'll get the layup good to go for Bogle, as he has 6.
And they'll get their final timeout, a full one. We'll take it with them. We'll be right back here on FNN.
At Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, we see our community as extended family.
Hello, I'm Mark Box. My wife Holly and I would like to thank the families that we have had the honor to serve. We see our community as our extended family. That's why we work so hard to invest in our community and the families that call it home. At Glencoe Hokes Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, you'll find services that are tailored to meet your needs, whatever those may be.
Piedmont Cutoff Highway in Glencoe and Highway 431 in Anniston. Our family serving your family.
29 seconds remaining in overtime as the city of Hokes Bluff presents this timeout. It's been a hard-fought second half as Hokes Bluff battled back from a 17-point third-quarter deficit to force overtime as they have a 4-point lead and have the basketball do the Hokes Bluff Eagles trying to advance to play Glencoe in tomorrow's championship. This is the Etowah County Tournament for the 2022-2023 season. Has a hard time inbounding for Hokes Bluff as they do find Colby Smith, as he almost lost it out of bounds as Presley gets it up ahead. Behind the defense, Wetzel for the layup. 6-point advantage. Clock winding down as Merriman for the NBA 3, no. As the rebound tapped around and out of bounds off of Hokes Bluff. Just under 9 seconds remaining in the ball game, as looks like a little too much to overcome right now for Gaston, as we'll have a foul in front of the Gaston bench as Micah Merriman will go to the free throw line for 2 free throws. The clock at 7.3 seconds to go. As Presley has 37 to lead all scorers, and Micah Merriman with 33 to the line for 2. Our coverage starts tomorrow for Championship Friday for the Etowah County Tournament. Around 6 o'clock for our coverage time as Merriman hits the first of 2 free throws. It'll be 6:15 the tip-off time for Glencoe and Sardis for the girls' varsity championship. Free throw no good, but Brock Bagley gets the rebound, misses the layup, as the clock winding toward double zeros as Hokes Bluff battles back from a 17-point deficit and pulls it out in overtime, 67-62. We'll take this timeout, and we'll begin our postgame after this as you're watching the Etowah County Basketball Tournament presented by Northeast Orthopedic Sports Clinic and Physical Therapy on FNN.
I am a dreamer who will make a difference in this world.
I am flying to a future of great promise and change.
I am a mentor committed to helping my students transform their lives.
I'm a hard worker striving to build a better Alabama.
I am a go-getter with ambition and drive.
I am a Gadsden State Cardinal.
Watch me.
Watch me.
Watch me fly.
Northeast Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Clinic with Doctors Stewart, Dalpin, Ryan, Kelly, Shaw, Metters, Wilson, and Blackstock is pleased to offer 5 locations to serve the Northeast Alabama area. NEO features on-site physical therapy at their South 4th Street Gadsden, Highway 77 Rainbow City, Highway 431 Boaz, and Fort Payne locations. NEO's Football Injury Clinic runs every Saturday morning at 7:30 a.m. through high school football season at Northeast Orthopedics 4th Street location in Gadsden, keeping you in motion at Gadsden, Rainbow City, Boaz, Center, and Fort Payne across from Walmart.
A win in overtime, a thriller for Hokes Bluff as they come from behind to defeat Gaston 67-62. And we have with Jim Jacobs both our player of the game in Jordan Presley and head coach Jason Presley for Hokes Bluff.
All right, Coach, you had to make it interesting. Spotted them 17.
Was it 17?
Yep.
I was just thinking how many possessions we have to get back in it. Our pressure turned up, obviously. Got some easy baskets. The easy baskets I talked about early, we finally got them in the fourth quarter. But give them a lot of credit. You know, they made it hard. They're 17 they got. They definitely outplayed us for 3 quarters, no doubt about it.
Coach, I thought the defensive pressure obviously came alive in the fourth quarter. I mean, it was just in a different gear.
Yes, sir. We definitely did. We were trying to go offense for defense. Some of our guys were better offensive players, some better defensive players. Mason Miller came in. He did a great job pressuring the ball. He's a senior. He's obviously in a platoon situation. So credit him for really getting pressure on the ball. Because number 12, Michael Merriman, we couldn't do anything with him. And when we started trapping him, we were getting the ball out of his hands a little bit, and it helped us get some turnovers.
I think the pressure also made him tired, Coach, and I thought that affected his shot down the stretch.
Yes, sir, I agree.
Well, it's probably not hard for you to talk about this young guy.
Well, I'm going to tell you something about him. A lot of people have criticism for the coach's son, right? And it's hard to be the coach's son. Coaches, always sometimes doing different things for his own child, but he works so hard. He puts everything he's got into it. His leadership at the half and over there on the bench, he has evolved into our leader, he and Colby Smith, and he took control of our locker room tonight, and he took control of the game tonight. And I can't tell you how proud of him I am, even if he is mine.
Coach, you got a championship match tomorrow night. That's got to go home and get some rest.
That's going to be the key. We got to have some rest. And maybe we can come out and match Glencoe's energy. They're going to have their crowd. Our guys are battle-tested. If we can get some legs under us, I think we can play pretty well.
All right, let me have a word with Jordan here real quick. Talk a little bit about the game you put up tonight. I mean, lots of points, and you guys were behind. You struggled to get some of your teammates struggled to get the shot going, but you carried them when they needed it.
Yes, we were, like you said, we didn't get much offensively. I had to be more aggressive than usual. And, Colby, he helped us out in the second half. And, I just stayed aggressive.
When did you guys finally realize that it was going to take the kind of defensive effort that came alive in the fourth quarter to even have a chance to win this game?
In the second half, really. Those 16 minutes, we left it all out there. We didn't want to get upset. We stayed with it. We stayed together, and I provided as much leadership as I could and stayed aggressive. And number 12, he kept hitting, but we did what we could.
Now, what was the message from Coach at the half? I mean, you guys were down, you were flat. It was obvious the 5 days off had affected the team a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we started off really bad, but at the half, they just said, keep doing what you're doing, keep playing the way you're playing, but we got to get in 12. We got to do, we just got to do what we got to do.
30 points plus tonight, young man.
Yeah, stayed aggressive.
Congratulations, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you to the Presley family, both Jordan Presley, our star of the game, and Hokes Bluff head coach Jason Presley for their post-game visit. Looking at, as far as the quick look at the final totals for tonight's ball game, Jordan Presley with a game-high 37 points to help lead his team to victory, as he was matched just about point for point tonight by Micah Merriman for Gaston with 36. Some of the other scoring totals, Landon Davenport had a respectable 13-point outing. Colby Smith chipped in 8, 4 for Anderson Morgan, 2 for John Clark Wetzel, and 3 for Ashton Moody for Hokes Bluff. For Gaston, they also, in addition to Merriman's 36, had 7 each from Devon Green and Brock Bagley, along with 4 points from Will Bagley and 6 points from Jacody Bogle. But an outstanding effort, and even just observing as far as Jordan Presley talking with you, he, just like Micah Merriman and really everybody that was on this floor tonight, left it all out on the floor tonight.
Oh, you could just look at Jordan and tell, he's just spent. And like Coach said, they put a lot of energy out on the floor tonight in this comeback. They're going to need to get home and get some sleep.
Well, we've got 2 more games tomorrow, Jim.
Can they come close to matching these?
We didn't think they would coming into tonight as far as what we saw last night, so they just might. Tune in tomorrow and find out as we begin championship coverage of the Etowah County Tournament. 6:15 the tip-off. We'll be on, we'll set 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock tomorrow for Sardis and Glencoe. 4 versus 2 as far as the seeding in this tournament for the girls' varsity teams. And then to close out the week, it'll be another 2-4 matchup, Glencoe and Hokes Bluff for the boys varsity right after the conclusion of the girls varsity championship. And before we go, certainly a big thanks to all of our sponsors this week for a job well done in presenting our coverage of the Etowah County Tournament this week. And there you see on the screen, as far as Northeast Orthopedic Sports Clinic and Physical Therapy, our presenting sponsor this week. And as always, our fine and talented folks behind the scenes doing an excellent job once again tonight.
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight from Glencoe High School. We'll see you tomorrow night for Championship Friday. Have a great evening, everybody. Be safe going home, and we will see you tomorrow for the Etowah County Tournament Championships here on FNN.